Hello, Jimmy Fluke here with
Peter Berryman.
Peter Berryman here for DNLS round 4. Let's go. Let's get stuck in. So yeah, we're back at this. This will hopefully go a little smoother than the first time that we did this, where it was like, what are the rules? What's going on here?
Well, that's the situation I'm in, I guess.
That's the situation that Pete's in for this one. At least I can maybe help out and step you through all of this. So yeah, we have another round of DNLS. I'm not saying the full series name because I tripped over that last time and I know not to do that again. But yeah, round 4. It's a 3-hour race this time rather than 3.5 hours. So I think that probably limits strategy a little bit for everyone, because I don't think anyone can make it to the full hour. So there's no like extra fuel saving or anything like that. We have some BOP changes as well for this round in the SP9 class. And then we've obviously got the success penalties as well for those that were top 3 in the previous round. So I'll just do a quick rundown of those. In SP9, obviously, top 3 last round were Team Redline, the number 50 car, the number 9 BS competition car, and the number 49 MG Team MSI car. So 30, 20, and 10 seconds stationary in the penalty box. I believe that's just on their first pit. Yeah, in their first pit stop, they must do that.
You have to eyeball that stuff, right?
Yeah, you have to eyeball it.
This is the small stuff that I hear, so yeah.
Yeah, so like you have to
things a bit awkward, right?
You have to manually judge that because you're not in your own actual box. You're in a little zone at the start of the pit lane.
Interesting.
So you have to sit and just eyeball it. So I think the Redline car last week, or not last week, last race a couple of weeks ago, they were stationary for like 33 seconds or so. So like little things like that, it's quite easy to get that wrong. In the same way that we see in F1, where if someone has like a 5 or 10 second penalty coming into the pits, and then you see that their actual stop time is 4 or 5 seconds on top of that because they're just playing it safe. They don't want to pick up another penalty. So
fair enough.
That's where the eyeballing sort of comes in. And then in the Porsche Cup class, Team Redline, the 130 car, the 105 Sharer, and the 119 Apex Racing Team car with a time penalty or success penalty or whatever way you want to sort of call it. So that's the 2 classes obviously that we're going to be focusing on, and we'll see how it goes. Qualifying, I believe, is done. I guess the guys are in like a briefing now, or see Luca there, obviously deep in focus and concentration on his phone probably. There he goes. Yeah, good scratch to the nose. We'd like to see that. We've got a camera this week on Michael once again in the sim room. Maybe he heads downstairs and pivots around whenever Kev gets into the car. Michael will be starting things off in the Porsche Cup class. Kev is driving in the 49 MSI car, so the one with the 10-second time penalty. He'll be with Elias this week.
Double duty for some of the guys as well this time,
Double
right?
duty,
obviously with Pesk in the evening, so
yeah,
bit of a challenge to manage that.
Huge challenge. Thankfully, it's in the same car, at least, so that's
makes things a bit easier. Yeah.
It's a little bit easier for Michael and for Luca, and they're both very experienced at this point now with the track and the car. So I guess their prep coming into this is maybe a little bit on the lower side.
Yeah, I know for sure it's definitely on the lower side. So thankfully, like you say, obviously same car, same track, they know it. Very little to get used to and set up and things like that. It's pretty much done anyways.
And the weather conditions are usually really similar.
Pretty similar, yeah. So
I think for this round the track temp is a little bit on the hotter side.
I think I've heard the same thing. Yeah, I want to say maybe 10 to 15 C hotter on the track temp. So a little bit tougher for the guys on tires, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But outside of that, everything's pretty similar.
I heard Michael say pretty much the same thing about tires. Like, yeah, like making it 2 stints on tires is gonna be difficult, man. That's the worst of the accents out of the way for now. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if guys are able to double stint their tires in the Porsche Cup class. I don't think it's as much of a thing now in GT3. With the fact that the tires and fuel, happen at the same time. Yeah. So, yeah, it'll be tricky in these temps anyway. Do we have qualifying results, Lee? If we can pull them up, we're still just hanging on. So we need to fill a little bit longer then? Okay, fine. No worries. We'll do that. So...
Big yawn from Michael. Feeling the early morning.
Yeah. He's he's ready to rumble. He's got his trucker hat on. Michael he's in the zone. Alex Sanchez in the chat. Man, Pete looks fresh.
Can I see the trim from here? Like,
I mean, I can see the trim from here. Yeah, the trim's looking...
Yeah, it was grim last time. I think last time was I think I saw myself on the camera last time. I thought, oh, that's... we best be fixing that. Like,
swivel around, swivel around. Yeah, yeah.
Watch it and go.
Yeah, there you go.
Looking good, looking good.
It's looking better than ever.
Nice one, nice.
You can see the trim from a mile
away. Big up God Barbers.
They're good.
Yes,
I think
the whole squad goes there, don't
yeah,
they?
the whole squad. Yeah, we've all landed on the same barber that we all go to. And it's good stuff. All right, gridding. So therefore we have a grid. Let's go. We'll get stuck in. So Max Verstappen on pole for Team Redline. No real surprises there, even though the Ferrari has got a BOP for this round. So does the Mercedes for that matter. Not quite as stiff for the Merc as it is for the Ferrari, but still, nonetheless, pole for Verstappen. Sami Trojan in second. He's qualified well this season, but hasn't had a single stint go his way. He's got pretty much shunted out of every last one of them. A lot is happening in the 49 MSI car for us up in third, with Alex Dunn in fourth, filling in right last minute, I think, for him. He hasn't had an awful lot of time to prep for this, so he's just like stepped in and basically a grid and go. And given the fact that because of some admin nonsense, that's me putting it diplomatically, the 48 car has a 60-second stop and go penalty because Alex Dunn is apparently not a real life driver. Someone explain that one to me. Yep. Phil Dinez and Norby Kish, 5th and 6th in the BS competition cars. Sindri Setsauce in 7th with Hardy Houghton in 8th for WS Racing. Marvin Dienst and Loic Hartog rounding out the top 10. And we've got Philip Gogolok. That's a cracking name, has to be said. Yeah, it's quite a good one. And then Earl Mate Will Tregarther in P12 in one of the Williams cars. Leopard Esports, in 13th there, the UL car that we sort of helped ball it a little bit with in 14th, and then there's the rest of the GT3 or the SP9 class. I thought Michael had shunted on his qualifying lap, but he's
to be honest, I thought it was much worse.
Yeah, I thought he'd completely bend it. So, okay, Michael there in, if my maths is correct, there P4, just ahead of Luke Bennett, and then we've got Kwan, the guys behind. So even though he apparently stacked it on his lap, he's still fourth. So
he's got something. So yeah,
he's still got something to work with. So
these guys, it's hard to believe what they're saying is actually true. Sometimes you know, people saying they've stacked it and they've just lost 2 tenths. Who knows? Like when I hear stack it, I think my Nürburgring 24 shunt. Yeah, that's what I have.
The car's
in mind.
Absolutely bend. Got Kev and Luca there on screen. Probably not where we wanted them to be, right in the middle of everything there, but there's the rest of the the Porsche Cup class, and then leading into GT4s as well. We're not going to worry too much about those because we don't have an entry in anything that isn't the SP9 or the PEETN class to give it its full overly long title. GT3 Porsche Cup, I think we'll stick with that from here on. But yeah, everyone's gridding now. So how the series works as well, each class has its own designated start zone. It's not like an iRacing official where you can run it nearly how you like. Like each class is very well segregated out, and then they get stuck in with a start zone, kind of like how you would have with, I think I see it most prominently in NASCAR, where they've got the Geico restart zone or whatever. So they've got something similar. I think there's a mark or a part of the pit wall where they can start from, and once the leader goes, they go. They have a set speed that they have to work to as well. I think it's around 80 kph. Don't quote me on that. It's in the rulebook somewhere, but I've only got the briefing, not the rulebook open, so forgive me for that one. What else? Yeah, race is 3 hours long. So it'll be a long old set here, Pete. Yeah. Strap in.
Not as long as it could be, though.
It could have been longer. You've got your BAM there, and I've got my Monster on the side, because I'm not always representing the brand.
We are fueled to go.
We are fueled to go. We are ready to rumble.
Should be a good hack, hopefully.
Should be. Are we stuck on the wrong camera? I guess the race is... Yeah, there we go. All good. You know, if we got the opportunity to see cars moving versus stationary, then we'll see cars moving if we can take it. Muncie there in chat, I guess F3 is just imaginary. I guess so. So's the driving standards usually in that series, to be fair.
That's what makes it good, I guess, though, right?
It does, it does.
Every F3 race you're watching, you know it's going to be a spicy one.
Yeah, it's probably the best racing series on the planet in terms of...
Junior categories are where it's at.
Yeah, because everyone shunts. Are we streaming both DNLS and PESC? Yes, we are. So, are you doing it this evening as well?
I believe it's Kev. I believe Kev is driver and studio duties today. So
excellent. So
he does it all.
He does it all, whereas I'm resigned to sitting here all day. I'll get the sleeping bag out for later if necessary. But yeah, we're coming up to the green. Verstappen has a habit of stacking things up and then bolting quite late, so we'll see if he plays differently this time. Elias is actually probably in a decent spot there in P3, where he can kind of just follow Max, whereas Trogan on the left and the Sontech car has to sort of like look right and check and see how we go. Yeah, no, he's went early and it'll all fan out. Green flag in the air and away we go.
Very good start from Elias.
Yeah, very good start. Try push middle, and I would assume that the 48 car would be all about...
Oh, mate.
Oh, yeah, it's what... a little bit deep. Verstappen holds on there in the lead.
Alex Dunn's now up in second then.
He is.
He's got a good run. Possibility of a cutback.
Yeah, we'll see whether he plays any shenanigans. Oh, he's looking at it. Or whether he'll generally take it chill because he knows he's got a big penalty incoming anyway.
Be interesting. Two guys who don't like to give up an inch on track.
No,
always
certainly not against each other either.
Yeah, as you can see, it always makes for a good race.
I think we could just sit here, just on Alice's bonnet cam here, and just watch these two just lay into each other for the next lap or so.
Best seat in the house.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I've got the arms crossed here. Just, yeah, we'll sit back and chill and just sort of watch this all unfold, because it'll be hyper as long as Alex can sort of stick with that very, very quick Ferrari. Just super quick on the BOP. So the Ferrari got plus 4 kg from the previous round and minus 0.5% power, which should slow it down a little bit. But the Mercedes is also plus 2 kg. So I think the Ferrari is still going to be the quickest car, based off of what we've seen last round. So it's a small help. It might make things a little bit easier. And bear in mind as well, that leading red line car has the maximum 30-second stop hold penalty box success penalty thing in this race, so it'll be a little bit harder for Verstappen to breeze his way back through the field. Dunn doesn't have required FIA license for the series. He probably does, but it's just some admin paperwork thing where they didn't accept it. I don't know. It was weird.
I don't know the specifics either. I remember him mentioning something that he doesn't have. You need a something specific from either through the FIA or from the FIA for it to be sort of eligible. Yeah. It's some weird stuff like that. But
Verstappen apparently doesn't have it either. But because he's Verstappen, he gets the race in this without any penalty.
Yeah, that's the jungle, I guess.
Yeah, that is the jungle. Green flag in the air for the Porsche Cup class. So we got
almost a shunt there.
Michael there in fourth, and hopefully will be able to work his way forward from here. But then again, third or fourth in line in this class with how strong the draft is maybe isn't such a bad strategy. Michael was sort of hung out to dry a little bit in the previous round, where he led from the start and led the entire first stint pretty much. So maybe fourth isn't such a bad place, and as long as you avoid the jungle basically off the start, it's not such a big issue. But all clean so far. I didn't see any wrecks in
me neither.
In GT3 either. So, well, that's me. Hopefully, I've jinxed it, and hopefully all carnage just ensues, and then we get to talk about someone driving terribly in a huge shunt or whatever. But Michael's just settled there into fourth. Everyone will eventually sort of stack up a little bit in this class because of how strong the draft is, and probably better than I do just how strong that is right now.
It's an interesting track, to be honest. On the outside, you think, Nordschleife, tons of overtaking, there's straights everywhere, but often I find it's quite the opposite. And to be honest, most of the lap, you rely on the car ahead of you. For example, Michael here in the train.
Yep.
For him sticking with the leader, it's all about the guys ahead. So guy in second is determining how the guy in third goes through most of the lap here. So
yep.
If the guy in second has a bit of a stinker, maybe he's not quite settled, it's very, very easy for the leader to be gone, and you've done nothing wrong yourself.
Speaking of gone, GT3, the red line car,
exactly like
1.6 is probably already gone.
Yeah. So yeah, it might just be not quite settled for Alex. Maybe I don't think the Ferrari is that quick, so it might just be it's a tough track in Nordschleife if you're not fully dialed in and fully confident. You suffer quite a lot compared to most tracks.
And one thing that we sort of know about Verstappen from his real life endeavors, like there's no one better in the game than just getting out on track and being immediately.
He's unreal. It makes it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh every F1 weekend. Where,
FP1.
Yeah, FP1 first lap.
2 seconds.
He's always there. It's it's super, super impressive.
GR86 is already on the relative for the GT3s. That's hilarious. That's pretty mental. All right, so assuming that Verstappen's just gone, which he's already 2 seconds clear, and he's pulling in a straight line there again as well. So I guess that Ferrari hasn't been hit much in a straight line. 0.5% par really isn't a massive amount, and it was. I mean, he qualified on pole last round by 3 seconds.
That's pretty incredible.
So, like, the car is
It is the Nordschleife for sure, but 3 seconds is a lot. That's an eternity round here.
Obviously, his lap would have been unreal, but...
Yeah. Like, anything within a second, I think, is reasonable around this track.
I
like,
agree.
You'd be satisfied.
I agree. I think, though, the strat... And this probably sounds probably a little bit rough on Alex here. He's probably just got to tow Elias around for as long as he can and just help his race out, because he knows he's got a 60-second stop and hold.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Like, that's just a
kills the morale a little bit, you know.
Kills the morale a little bit. So he'll go out there and he'll do the best job that he can. But he obviously had to go at Verstappen early on just to try and at least hold him up a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
maybe the Ferrari they knew would be so strong that that's sort of his only hope. If he can't get the job done in those few corners, I guess he sort of knew that this was how the race was going to go, kind of thing.
Yeah. Back with Porsche Cup.
All pretty close together.
All pretty close. I mistook the gap, so it's there's a car in between the first and third there. Didn't actually quite see that. So Michael's still in fourth. So even still, 4 cars within a second, and then coming onto a long straight here, it'll all be fairly, fairly line astern, I guess, at this point. There might be some moves further back. Michael's actually just dropped slightly off the back of the Sherra car ahead, but it's still early doors and still well within draft range, so no big concerns there. Mark in the chat there, FIA grading, so bronze, silver, gold, platinum is required to classify you as a real driver. They changed the rules after letting Max race round 2 to allow super license holders.
Okay.
Interesting. So what does Alex then actually have?
I think that's probably the problem. Is that
does he have? He wouldn't have super license now, though.
I don't think he would have a super. But see, maybe they have something different, because I don't think it. I don't think you have the bronze, silver, gold stuff for the likes of F3 and F4 and things like that. I think that's probably the problem, right?
No grading for single.
Yeah, exactly. So the bronze, silver, gold, platinum's all GT stuff. I think. So that's where the problem lies, I guess. Then.
So yeah, fair. Well, not fair.
So it makes a lot more sense than what Alex was saying. Like, he would need to go and get a rating from the FIA and get something signed, but
on that sort of notice,
seems a bit more. It seems a bit easier to just make a bit of an amendment to the rules, really, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's weird though that you don't actually have any sort of like FIA grading to be in F3 or F2 then.
I mean, I would assume that those guys are like platinums or golds straight off the bat if you're doing those type of categories. I would assume that's the type of thing you get anyway. So
100%. But like, that's a weird. I think it's a bit annoying that then Alex is not classified as a real driver on that.
The only thing I'll give credit for is that they're actually, although the rules are bending a little bit, at least they stick harsh to rules in this series, because
they do.
There's been series I've been a part of where there'll be stuff in the regulations and rules are set like, this is strict, do not do this. Someone breaks the rule, you bring it up, X person has broke this rule, and they sort of go, well, it's not that, and then so either side of the coin there, but it sucks. on one half, but at least on the other half, it's kind of they're strict with the rules, which is good in a sense.
Yeah, I've started to realize that with even just stewarding our own stuff in our ARL leagues.
Yeah, you get a bit of an appreciation for it, right?
Yeah,
it's a tough job.
It's like, all right, well, there's an incident that's happened. It's like, well, I mean, it wasn't that bad, but based off the definition of the rules, this is what it classifies as. Like, well, if it was just a subjective thing, I wouldn't give such a harsh penalty, but you know, I kind of have to because
it classifies as this category. So
it does.
Yeah, it's difficult.
How do you think the IR will be split in road with the new season GT and open wheelers, basically?
It's quite a big discussion between all of us, to be honest. We're quite. I'm hearing a lot of different things. I think
I'm pretty sure it's your I rating will just
you are that I rating for each thing,
class,
yeah.
And then you just do whatever.
Yeah, that's the most recent thing I've been hearing. Originally, we we saw. I think some guy in the community had some sort of.
Like he had like his own tracker basically of like everyone's
it
results.
Showed how much iRating you had in certain cars.
Yeah.
Which I think would be a horrible way of doing it for guys like myself, especially. I think in single seaters it would put me something like 2.3k, which that's definitely not the case, you know, or like 3k, whatever it would be.
Oh, you mean for GT cars, not
no, this would be for single seaters, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because all of my single seater stuff has mostly been done in World Championships, which are leagues. So that would be the problem.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so...
Did you not win like 50 races in a row in Formula Renault or something like that?
I've gained... I want to say the exact number is something like 3k. Maybe it's 4 or 5 or something, but it's much lower than 9, that's for sure. So yeah, hopefully they don't do things that way, but...
Yeah.
I can't imagine they would split it like that for reasons like that, because it would be a bit unfair.
Well, I'd be sad, like... The highest I rating that I'd have is like 6k and something, because I've got my I rating split quite evenly across different things.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, oh, well, shoot, all of a sudden I'm not like top split. Yeah. I have to grind like crazy to get to where I actually am. Oh, okay. Right, so I've just had Lee confirm that, yeah, the I rating that you have will be applied then to both.
Which makes much more sense.
I agree.
The guys, for example, who want to protect their GT license for World Championships or whatever, although they're maybe 9, 10k in a single seater, they can go and have a hack in F4 and they don't really care if the I rating tanks and whatnot. So
if I want two classes, or both classes be 10k I rating, I need to grind to 10k now before it splits. Oh, I don't even have an active sub. This is horrible. I've got like 2 weeks probably to get it done. No, it's not happening. It's not happening. I'll have to do it the hard way then later on at some point. Yeah, so Michael's dropped a spot there to the Team Redline card from 4th down to 5th. Not a big deal at this point in the race.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be too upset.
And again, maybe Michael's sort of on the tire saving hunt. He's like he did mention, yeah, double sitting tires will be tricky in these harder conditions, and maybe that's the game he's playing. Is all right. Well, he knows it'll come back to him later, and as long as he stays in draft of someone, then he's probably in good shape. But he also does have the 10-second time penalty to be applied in his first stop, so stopping in the penalty box. So not a huge hit, but still something. It'll be interesting to see how the strategy plays out. And again, this is a slightly shorter race than last time, so he's less time, both between himself and the chair there of Luca, to make that time back up again. And likewise, actually, for the GT3 guys, it's going to be even harder for that red line car to win again this week. Given that the race is shorter.
Yeah, the gap seems to have stabilised a bit more compared to what it was like earlier, so maybe the Mercedes is just a bit of a slow starter with its tyres or whatever it may be. So
it's not a good quality car.
Yeah, I know that for sure, yeah. But yeah, it looks good. It looks like we're not tanking the way we were on the first lap. So
yeah, the first lap was pretty rough there. But
maybe Alex has got settled, maybe the car's just a bit of a slow starter, but yeah, it's much more stable now.
Yeah. And everything's still fairly neutral, pretty static here in Porsche Cup. Michael's just got a nice little pocket just to operate in. He's not under much pressure from behind. And yeah, like the guys ahead aren't like squabbling and tripping over each other. Like everyone's seemingly sort of working well here.
Okay, so Kev's saying the tires exploded after T4. Okay, it makes sense. Alex was very aggressive on the first lap, and yeah, I assume he's paying the price for that then.
Yeah.
5 stages of Macumba.
Yeah, the 5 stages of Macumba.
Yeah, and then you go through the 5 stages of anger, and then all sorts afterwards.
Yeah. It's like anger, or like denial, anger.
Confusion's in there somewhere. Despair.
And then acceptance at the end. It's like, yeah, this is what we got. We'll just knock it down and get on with it. I guess that 48 car, Kev, maybe you can or can't answer this, is just on a tow the 49 car around sort of job. Went through the first 4 stages of that one, fair. It's probably actually not so bad, or like tire Macumba, I guess, isn't such a big thing at the Nordschleife. I've tended to notice. I don't know about you, Pete.
Yeah, it's definitely, this track's definitely a different thing because
like the grip levels off the track itself are just totally different.
And it's corner after corner after corner. It's very difficult to do anything about the tire. You know, most tracks you can drive the car in a certain way to try and help things, but here it's, yeah, you're getting corners thrown at you so quickly. It's just, it is what it is, and the tires do their thing. So
yeah, no set plan then. Okay, cool. Not that I was expecting like a huge strategy spill, but since we know that the 48 car does have that 60-second stop and hold penalty, you know, it probably makes sense just to have Alex pull Elias around as much as
Elias has really impressed me, by the way.
Yeah.
Really, really impressed me with his pace. Yeah, for obviously most real-life guys that come to the sim, you think, oh, well, they're going to be lacking quite a bit, but I think the true real-life guys that you tell are like the really good drivers in real life are quick on the sim. So you can see that with like your Verstappens, your Alex Duns, as like Elias, for example, here as well, that you can see on screen.
Yeah.
Those guys are quick in both. I think that's how you tell the really good guys from the, you know, your average guys, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah. Elias would be a lot better as well if he had more time, more capacity.
Yeah, if he put esport time into it.
Yeah, if he put esport time into it, he'd be
ready. Flying. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, the boy's got a bucket load of talent, and yeah, he's doing really, really well here. But yeah, fair point. There's just probably not that many drivers now who are really good in real life and then just suck in the sim. There's like some examples that I've seen over the years where there's guys who just can't hack the sim at all, and then just put them out in the real track and they're flying.
We're starting to see more and more of it, especially with the guys in the junior categories. Like everywhere I look at the minute, guys on Twitch, I'm like, you know, who are these like young guys who are like flying? It's like, oh, they're doing F4, they're doing something, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite good.
I think it's much more accepted now as a training tool, and what also probably prompted that was COVID, when everyone had like no alternative other than to, you know, try out the sim.
I think the reason for the acceptance, or why it's a bit easier now, is I think beforehand, I think people took it too literal, where, you know, oh, I've got a race at Zandvoort this weekend, I'm going to prep in iRacing in the F4 at Zandvoort for my F4 race. I don't really think that's the way to do it anymore.
No.
I think the sim is just good for purely just staying sharp.
Yeah.
Racing, you know, for example, traffic and things like that, things that are
here we go.
A lot more similar.
The GR86 chicanes to negotiate.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Would be interesting to see if the red line car like pulls a gap or gets held up. It's like this first pass through traffic, and it's, you know, if you're the leader, you tend to gain quite a bit through traffic. That's what I've noticed. It very rarely works the other way. So all clean, all good so far for Alex at the moment. Make throw up the inside, yeah. In something like a GR86, you kind of just have to defer to the faster class, because
survive or get missiled, essentially.
Essentially, yeah. As soon as they commit, like, you cannot do anything about it. So it's usually in your best interest just to give space, or at least indicate that you're not going to just like swing across and take the apex with the corner on someone who probably will get there slightly before you. But it's so difficult to judge in a car that's that much slower than what's overtaking you. And that's where you see the incidents come from. Also, what we see in this series as well, there tends to be a slightly lower driver skill, I guess, in those slower classes, particularly the GR86 versus, you know, you got your 10K drivers and all in GT3 and Porsche Cup. You don't see as many of those sorts of guys in GR86 in the slower class. So you're also dealing with maybe slightly different driver skill levels as well, and that's, again, where some of the issues tend to arise. I would not want to be doing GR86 in this series.
Yeah, it's scary stuff.
It is scary stuff because
any people in real life doing this stuff, you know.
I know.
We always see that little. Is it the Dacia? The
Dacia
Nürburgring, like.
Yeah.
Those guys are the true maniacs in the race, right?
That car got biffed off by Lauren Heinrich this year. And
that was a big shunt.
The dream is over. There's no more spare parts.
I don't think it should be in the race. So I think it's for the best. Like, as much as everyone loves to like meme it, and it's like everyone thinks it's a good laugh, but it is so dangerous.
Yeah,
it's too slow.
It's sort of why I'm generally against like multi-class racing at the Northside anyway, because like it's so difficult to find places to overtake. Like, you wouldn't do multi-class racing at Monaco. I know that's an extreme example or something like that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's like the track's too narrow for it to be sensible. Or something like, I don't know, Coda is maybe a good example of a track where, okay, yes, you've got your like good mix of all sorts of corners, but the track's generally quite wide in most places, so you can sort of send it wherever you like, and the slower class can quite easily get out of the way without losing too much time. Well, I hate multi-class racing in general. Like, I can't say. I just think it's pointless.
I think I like it. I like it generally. I generally think it's cool.
In real life, I totally get it. In the sim, I don't.
It has its moments. Like, you know, sometimes with the multi-class stuff, it's your best friend. You're like, this is so much fun.
Yeah.
And then there's those days where you're trying to gain a 10th on a guy, and you just hit traffic and lose 2 seconds, and yeah, you just want to leave the race entirely. So.
Yeah,
it's tough.
It does, I guess, keep some of the, like, especially with what we have with iRacing now, where for a short time left, we have dry conditions all the time. Like, we don't have variable weather as such. So
I think
the races are like sprints now, whereas the
fair.
The multi-class element does keep it somewhat interesting.
And that's what I was about to come to, is that the sprint race stuff, often it's, if the guy at the front is the quickest, that's that. But at least with the even from LMP3 in the GT4 series, I had a few races a couple of weeks back just for a bit of fun. And it's great because I think it was a Twin Ring Motegi might have been doing it, but you pass the traffic twice in those races.
Yeah.
And it keeps the race super interesting. So even if you start to pull a gap, as soon as you hit that first pass through of traffic, they're all over you again. And it was, I think that's what makes it what it is, essentially, is that the race is always on. Even if someone gets a bit of a gap to the cars behind, the traffic always sort of... So, I mean, sometimes it spreads it out even further, but more often than not, it brings everyone back together. So I think it's the closest thing we get to safety cars and things like that to spice it up. I guess that's the one element that makes it fun, but at the same time, you know, if you're the guy getting destroyed through traffic or things aren't going your way, it's pretty painful.
Just to elaborate my point, Dove Photo, in sim racing, I think it's like less useful, because I totally get in real life where all these classes want to come in and race in the same event. Okay, we'll just put them all on track at the same time. Great.
Yeah.
Which, you know, you can't have a GT4 24-hour race on its own and a Porsche Cup race for 24 hours on its own, and GT3. Like, you can't have all those individual classes and can't put like 60 of them all in. Like, it just doesn't work. So everyone just piles into one race. I totally get that. In the sim, no, we can't. So it's different. Like, all one, like, if you get 60 of your one class out there, like, that's fine. And you can do that in the sim, which you can't in real life, or it just doesn't happen. So that's why I lean against multi-class racing in the sim. I do understand, though, that we're trying to simulate real life racing, and it is a part of real life racing, but I don't think we need to simulate absolutely everything. 24-hour multi-class race just sounds like hell.
I mean, each to their own, I guess. I think that if it was a 24-hour race, like you say, single class, I just think it would be absolutely boring. Like, even in the, for example, 24 Daytona, obviously you get 1 or 2 cars that are just long gone. But there's always that little voice in the back of your head thinking, traffic's a thing, something could happen, so you just sort of stick to it. Whereas a sprint race, if someone's 10 seconds up the road, you're sort of, well, that's that, you know.
True, but
just think it always keeps the race open. There's always something going on, you know. There's people to overtake people overtaking you.
Yeah,
with different classes. So, but I get it, you know. So everyone likes.
I mean, like
not others.
My favorite enduro is Spa 24 because it's GT3 only.
Fair enough. Yeah, and that's a good race. It's a very good event.
But because there's like 50, 60 cars in the grid, you're always still fighting someone anyway, usually. Like, if you're not, then something weird has probably happened. But in any race of that sort of length, like the races sort of take a pattern after about 4 hours anyway, and you sort of know where you're at. It doesn't really shift too much unless there's like clear differences between like drivers within each car. So you've got like one guy that's just like 0.3 lap quicker than their teammates. Well, then, you know, you've got that sort of dynamic where it's different and maybe a little bit more interesting. But outside of that, yeah, usually what we see is, you know, once 3 to 4 hours have passed, you sort of know where everyone stands in the race, and it doesn't usually budge too much from there. So hopefully Rain will spice it up and keep things quite interesting.
What are your thoughts on Rain? I'm a bit. I mean, everyone I hear talking about Rain is really up for it. I think I'm one that's I'm
terrified for it.
I'm in the opposite camp. Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me with Rain is that when you look at iRacing, the general population of iRacing, right?
Yeah.
So like the high iRating guys is such a small proportion of people.
I think I've seen it worked out. The top 1% is 5k and up.
Yeah,
that's the 1%.
Yeah, like that's
levels
crazy.
Even within that.
Like my thinking towards Rain is that I just can't see the general population of iRacing members.
So you're
enjoying
2k.
It. I just
1 to 2k.
I can't see them enjoying it at all. My worry is that it's going to have the opposite effect of what people think, and it's going to be fun for a little bit, and then it's just going to die completely.
Yeah.
And people, because
even if it drives really well and drives really accurately.
Exactly. My thinking is that if a 2k iRating guy doesn't race a car because, for example, there's too many setup choices, like I'm not racing that car because it's too complicated.
Yeah.
If that's enough to put people off, I can't see people with 2k iRating who don't put time into the sim coming home. It's a Rain race. Let's go. I think it's going to be too difficult for a lot of people to drive. And they're just not going to enjoy it. I think that's my worry with the Rain at the minute, is that it's just going to put a lot of people off racing. And obviously I haven't read too much into how the weather system works in the rain and everything.
They're going to have it like switched on for certain weeks where it can
rain. Okay.
Yeah.
So I assume people get a rough idea. Oh, this race might rain.
Yeah.
So I think my at least the way I think it'll work out is that a majority of people are going to see this race might rain. Let's go race something else.
Yeah.
And that's my worry. I think it's going to kill a lot of stuff. There will be obviously the population of like the high IR guys and other people who love rain. I'm sure a lot of the real life guys are going to enjoy it quite a lot. I know Gordy Much is one of them who's really looking forward to it.
For it.
But my worry is it's just gonna have the opposite effect and kill a lot of the racing because people just don't want to do it because it's too difficult.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's a valid point. Like it's probably part of the reason why, like, F1 and iRacing is typically quite dead. Like, it's not easy to drive the car. Imagine that thing in the wet.
Yeah.
Imagine that too. Imagine it just like starts.
Some of the cars are hard enough in the dry, you know.
Yeah. It's not straightforward. The sim is punishing in perfect conditions. So when you add that extra variable of rain, I agree with you. I think it'll be fun for a little bit, but yeah.
In the longer races, I think rain is a good idea, but in the normal official races, I feel like you do. Yeah, I feel like at least in my head, the only races where rain, I feel like everyone's going to sort of think this is kind of fun, is going to be the big events, you know, like a Daytona 24. It's going to rain during the night, something like that. I think that's sort of the only events where I think people will accept it, and it is what it is. Obviously, you have no choice if you're in the middle of a race, right? But,
sure.
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't have the opposite effect and kill a lot of the racing because people don't enjoy it.
Yeah, imagine a midnight rain short and then there are 24. Like,
that's going to spice the races up. Something shocking. It's going to be, I think that aspect of it will be really, really good because just like real life, you're going to see a massive swing in lap times, right?
Yeah.
You might be flying in the dry and all of a sudden the rain comes and you panic and there's someone back there who's like, I've nothing to lose, let's send it. And they're pulling seconds on your lap. So it could make the racing really good, right?
In something like Northside, it'd be seconds a sector nearly.
Exactly.
Or it'd be tipping down on one part of the track and bone dry somewhere else, which I think, you know, if they have it working how they want it to, then it will work that way.
And even from an esports point of view on the rain as well, it's like it sounds like a lot of work now. The race might rain. We need a dry setup, a wet setup. Maybe there's an in-between setup. It's going to be, it's going to bring a whole new aspect to the sim.
You underestimate our enjoyment of suffering. Probably.
Certain people.
For certain people. Yeah. Some people will absolutely love it.
One person who will not hate it is John. After the other day we saw people had their track lists and their tiers and everything.
Yeah.
Not a single track was below decent. He enjoys everything.
He does enjoy everything.
Gotta love. You gotta appreciate that, right?
I'm surprised no one flagged me up for putting Daytona in and amongst all the other crap tracks.
I mean, I can understand that. I know Sam Fitzpatrick would probably put Daytona, if there was a tier even lower than the worst one, I'm sure he'd put it down there.
I just hate all Rovals. I just can't. They're all boring as hell.
All of them?
All of them.
Every single one?
Except for New Hampshire. It's the only weird one because on the back street you just dive out. Right
I remember it in Skip Barber. Back in the Skip Barber days, I remember that.
It just has a couple of funky little corners and then nips back in. That's at least somewhat interesting. They're crap. They're all crap.
Charlotte Roval is amazing, fun to hot lap. Yeah, it's fun to not with the first chicane iteration that they had.
No.
That was... I remember having to do that, I think, in either the pro qualifiers or the contenders, and that was sketch. I'll use that word, sketch.
Yeah.
It was a lot of bad words were said during that week.
That was for 20...
It was a while ago, that, right? Yeah.
I think I remember that. I think I did some laps for that as well. I'm like, glad I don't actually have to race this.
It's mad how much things have changed since then as well. I think I won the highest SOF at that point, and it was 8.5 or something like that.
Yeah.
And now we're getting 9K SOFs, and it's
in team races as well.
Yeah, exactly. Things are really taking off.
Yeah. Hi Vince, how's it going? Yeah, I know. Yeah, Charlotte's a weird one where. Yeah, there's no real clear overtaking opportunity across the entire lap.
I think that's probably what puts most people off it, right? It's just not a racing track.
But also, flows quite weird. Yes, you've got the elevation and undulation in the infield, which is a small upside, but yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't click well with me. I can't explain it. It just... and it's a Roval, so I'm inherently going to hate it.
I accept Daytona because more often than not, a good track is something that works for multiple cars.
Yeah.
And you can actually race. There's places to pass. So that's why I think, for me at least, Daytona's good. Although, if someone said to me, oh, you've got to drive for the rest of your life is Daytona, I'm devastated.
Yeah.
Lapping it is quite boring.
So for me, lapping it is, that's my highest priority, and then everything else comes underneath it. I have to enjoy the track that I'm driving. If it races well, great. If not, well, I'm enjoying driving it.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Everyone comes at it from a different angle, so yeah, all Rovals are dull to lap. I remember
fair enough then, yeah. I can see that.
Was it 2 years ago? I was doing, I think it was a triple stint just to check tire wear at Daytona, just to see whether a triple stint was on, and
I remember the LMP2 days. I think
couldn't stand it.
When we won in 2022, I think it was, in the LMP2 class, I think we were doing something crazy, 5 or 6 stints on the front tires and 3 on the rear. And that was grim. That was a long grind. Get through those tire sets.
And you had to do that because the driver swap was probably longer than than your fuel.
And then you run into the problem that you didn't want a fresh driver to be in with 4-stint old fronts and things like that, because it's weird to get used to.
Yeah. That's why Sebring's best track works for all classes, and most cars in Sims enjoy to lap by yourself too.
Sebring's solid for me. It's a good track, good to race. My only problem is the working with all cars. That's why I wouldn't put it as a GOAT track or a really high-level track. It would drop down a peg for me because things there's certain single-seaters that just can't handle the bumps and it just ruins it.
Yeah.
So that's maybe the one aspect.
It lacks elevation change for me. That's the one thing for me.
Okay. Elevation change doesn't bother me too much because Indy Road is as flat as it gets. And I love that track. That track is great. Indy Road is a great track. It's got such a good flow to it as well.
As far as Rovals go, it's okay, but I'm not... Again, just flat as a pancake. It's not that inspiring. In the same way that I'm not a huge fan of Silverstone either. I'm just... especially the new one. The old one, before they updated it in 2010 or whatever, the older layout was objectively, for me, better than... what they have now. And then on iRacing, the new one has no grip off the track surface at all. And it's just a slide fest.
That's why Silverstone is... Yeah, the actual layout of Silverstone is fun. But the track grip and things like that are pretty annoying.
It's just an inside front lock-up central track.
It is overheat central for all the tires, so...
Yeah.
It's,
certainly not with the new off-tracks, yeah. There's a JV with the
there you
tier
go.
list if you want.
Everyone have fun.
Everyone have a dip.
I'm sure you can at Apex or one of the socials somewhere and post your. Let us see all your lists.
Sandown, nothing.
Sandown. To be fair, Sandown was fun in the GT4s. We had GT4 there this year.
Yeah.
For data packs.
Yeah, we've done packs there before. I think we did GT3. And like, I enjoy lapping it, but like to race on, like, there's no.
Yeah, it just isn't
small.
Racing, right?
It's just too small. But in something like, I don't know, like maybe a Mazda or something like that, or like a Formula V.
Something
or a
that you can absolutely munch curbs with.
Yeah.
You're gonna have fun, I think.
Yeah. So it gets a bad rap because like no one races officials there, but
yeah.
that's because the racing sucks for most cars there.
For that reason, basically. Yeah. If you're not pole, the guy in front doesn't self shunt.
Yeah.
Congrats on wherever you qualify. That's where you're finishing.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Winton, on the other hand, does suck in all aspects. It's just
yeah, I actually saw that.
There's no rhythm, no flow to the track. Every corner just feels clunky.
It took me a bit of time to actually remember what Winton was, because I think I only did it once. And I want to say it was in an F3 data pack maybe a while back.
GT3 for me, which is just too big, too clunky for track like that.
I did not enjoy that track at all. Don't know what it is with Australia and these little... It's almost like they don't want to give up hope for kart tracks. And in their head, they're kind of thinking, well, we'll make it for the race cars, and if it doesn't work out, at least we can send karts around it, so they make it really small. It seems like
would be fine on
a
a
few
car.
other tracks
I
are
agree.
like that.
I agree. Winton sounds like it's a random short oval. It kind of does. What about Imola?
Imola is... I don't like.
I don't like Imola either.
I went really well there in the F1 days back in MP430.
You were unreal.
For some reason, I went really well there, but track isn't for me. I'm not a huge fan of it.
Yeah, especially with the current track limits, and the problem is they've got F1 track limits, but like the old style curbs. Yeah. So the natural racing line in terms of the curb is an off track for most corners, and it's just so frustrating. Like if they changed the curb profiles, I think it would drive so much better. But again, like the track is just, you've got chicane, hairpin, nice left-hander coming down the hill to the double right. That bit's fun. Chicane and 290 lefts. It's a bit.
But to be fair, if you describe most tracks,
they
sound pretty horrific, right?
True.
This is the same effect of like speaking song lyrics.
True.
Not a good idea for a lot of songs.
Yeah, Emily was ruined by the new off tracks. I agree. 48 stop and hold for 60 seconds. Yes, because apparently Alex Dunn is not a real life driver. That's the gist of that. Yeah. When signing up, he doesn't have an FIA grading because you don't need one for single seaters. Going to Bathurst today for 12 hours tomorrow. Yeah, Bathurst 12 hours this weekend. Should be pretty good.
Zandvoort's fun to hot lap. I've seen someone mentioning Barber Motorsports Park.
I like Barber to hot lap, but to race on it does suck.
IndyCar's grown on me a lot, so I'm starting to obviously experience all these IndyCar tracks like a lot more, and I think slowly but surely I'm starting to like them and appreciate them for what they are.
I like Barber because it gave me, I think, my best points haul in PESC ever, which was the very first round of the series.
Yeah.
I went downhill from there. I peaked in round one of the entire history of the series.
A bit difficult to race, but there definitely is overtaking spots, and it's got really good flow at that track as well.
You just need to be careful what you race it in.
Yeah, I think
Porsche Cup is about as quick as you want to go. Like you could overtake there.
Yeah.
If you're a little bit quicker. Which tracks do you like? So my top 5, and people give me a lot of crap for this, but I've stuck with this forever, and I will not budge.
VIR's got to be in there, right? I know VIR.
VIR's number 1. Zandvoort's in there. Spa's in there. Bathurst. Phillip Island. Phillip Island's like the rogue shot, but it flows really well for me. Like every time I've driven there, it just flows nicely.
Okay.
It just.
My experience with
and I've always raced well. Like I've always I've raced well there, and 2, any time that the racing has generally actually still been okay outside of F1, where yes, the car's maybe fractionally too big for it.
Yeah, from the racing side and the flow and everything, yeah, fair enough. The only thing that put me off so much about Phillip Island is why I didn't rank it as high is that in my head, Phillip Island is 2 hairpins.
Yeah.
And all I think is that every time I go through there in a single-seater car, only 3 of my wheels are touching the ground.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't rank it higher. It is inside front lock-up central.
Shame
it's not the nicest.
Shame that I'm not doing PESC anymore. Yeah.
Not for you, maybe.
I mean, it's been fun to watch, not going to lie, but yeah, we'll see what the future holds. We'll see what the future holds. Owen drove Barbara once in group coaching with me and never gave me a touch. Oh, so was my coaching that bad?
Yeah, we'll blame Jamie on that
blame
one.
my coaching.
Can't be the track.
Yeah, no, definitely not the track. Definitely not. It's a hard track to get right, but I think it's super satisfying once you do. VR number one? Yeah, for me, it's number one. I mean, you can throw the Nordschleife there, but the only reason why I rate it down slightly is through the majority of the middle of the lap, you can't overtake at all, so it's a lot of time where you can't do much. You're just sort of waiting for the back straight. You're waiting 7 minutes for a back straight.
Yeah.
VIR has slightly more overtaken. It's just,
I realized that my thinking towards track is like I just flip. Like I think at the start I said something like, oh well, you know how it races is.
It's really
straight away I'm just thinking about Nordschleife. Yeah, but you never get bored hot lap. So
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe my thinking's just I don't know. I think experience, like your experience with the place matters a lot.
100%.
Even if you just win at a track every time you go to it, no matter what, I think you're liking it. So I think that definitely plays into it. Belle Isle, second on Johan's top 5 list.
Belle went
really
into the bad category for me.
Really surprising.
I just can't get a feel for it.
I think it's a fun track, but it has to be in the right car.
Yeah.
And the car has to be set up well.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're having a bad time with some sore hands. Yeah.
No, VR, even with the old grass, was still hyper. Just such a hyper layout. Road America, thoughts?
I like Road America a lot.
I like it too.
It's really good. It's really good for racing. Fun to hot laps. Got a good flow. Yeah, it ticks off everything. Overtaking spots. Really, really good racetrack.
Yep.
One track I've struggled. Road Atlanta. A lot of people rate Road Atlanta really high, and
I'm now obliged to rate it higher than I ever did because I won the ASL round there.
I've never been a huge fan of it. Never been a huge fan.
I like the track, but up until that ESL round, I always sucked so bad around there. So that was what like dipped it down for me. It was like, oh, I'd show up to it's like, oh, well, I'm just going to be like 2/10 off where I usually am compared to everyone else because I can't drive the track.
I think it's due to because I drive a lot more high downforce cars.
Yeah.
You then come into the curbs, and then after that, it's
T5.
It's dirty air, and so I think just all I think of Road Atlanta
I don't like Road Atlanta in an open wheeler, or at least a car that cannot attack turn 5. If you're just pussyfooting through T5, I feel like you kind of ruins the entire lap for me, or even T3 as well.
If you're not getting after it and really trying to get stuck into it, it's not a nice place to be.
Road America's great, but overused in the last few seasons.
I don't mind things being overused, to be honest. People like what they like.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's a tough statement to say. I was about to say something along the lines of, tracks that just aren't driven, like just stop putting them in the schedule, right? Like, if Sandown's dead, don't ever use it again. But I understand from iRacing's point of view, they're thinking we got to get people to buy this.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, iRacing run a business more than anything else, so they kind of have to. And
I think regardless, people would get bored. Even if you drove the tracks that everybody loves just over and over and over, I think they probably would get bored at some point, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have that with Rennsport, where it's, same 5 tracks, 6 tracks, whatever. It's like, back to this one again. You did get bored.
Johan saying, imagine Road Atlanta was supposed to be the final round of the inaugural Iro 1 season. So we got the schedule for Iro 1 the first year, and that was the finale. But this was obviously before Hungaroring was released, so that was the placeholder.
Yeah.
And Iro 1's at Road Atlanta, that would not have been nice. That would have been, not very pleasant.
Yeah. Aragon, thoughts on that? Because I've not actually ever turned a lap at the track.
I've done a few data packs there. I think what puts most people off is the same thing that puts most people off with Coda. Is I think the actual layout of the track and driving, it's fun. It's a challenging track. You have to be focused and engaged to be quick. But it's the off tracks and the track limits that probably put people off the most. So yeah, I think Coda's the same. I think Coda's a great track, really good track, fun to lap. It's a difficult track, so the driver can make a difference.
I would say
the off tracks are a struggle.
Coda's very much a single-seater track over GT. I've driven it, I've raced it in GT, and
single-seaters is definitely mostly what I'd be thinking of when I think of Coda.
Like the first and last sector, it's challenging in a GT car because
something like downforce. If you're relying on mechanical grip around that track, it's pain. You know, so yeah, I can see that. Definitely something with downforce is going to be a lot more fun.
Brands Hatch, I really enjoy Brands Hatch, but it's hard to race there in something that isn't I mean, like F4 even is still like a little big for brands.
It's good.
I mean, they used to race F1 around there, which is mad.
Yeah, British F4 and Porsche GB sort of force us to obviously drive these British tracks. I'm not really a fan of them all that much, but
I love Hot Lap in Oulton Park, but not the island layout. Screw that damned hairpin. That just ruins everything.
That's fair. We've got that next fifth Porsche GB, and it's quite it's difficult.
You can't even overtake into that island hairpin. You just defend the inside and just park apex, and no one
can't get off.
outside.
And they can't get off the corner earlier. So, well, we'll see. I'm sure there'll be guys out there who are absolute magicians on the brakes, or are able to figure something out.
I'm sure it'll happen. Silverstone over Sandford? No, Sandford for me definitely over Silverstone, like 100% of the time.
It's a tough one.
Sandford's
I think it depends on the
up
car
there for me in terms of like tracks to hot lap. I think I nearly single-handedly got that onto the F1 WCS schedule in 2018. That year where you probably would have won that race had you not sped in pits.
Oh, yes. More painful memories.
Because I remember Tyler after the previous season was like, oh, put suggestions in for what track that you want. Nobody put a suggestion, and I was like, well, I'm going to put in the track that I know I'm going to drive well at.
It was fun. It was fun.
Great hot lap. I mean, you can't race around there. It took me like 10 laps to overtake Mitchell de Jong, who was on knackered old tyres on a one-stop instead of a two-stop strategy, because
Wanda were unreal though, to be honest. They were very good
on that day, I think we had enough to win that race. If we qualified either of us on pole, we would have won.
Yeah, I believe so. Fuji is a giga track. I think so too.
I agree.
Maybe the track grip and like the tires overheat quite a bit, but my experience with Fuji is I've done a bit of GT4 there, and then the ERL VCO stuff with F4 and whatnot.
Yeah,
it was really, really good fun.
I agree. Just a hyper track.
I've just seen a horrible statement. How can people like say certain things?
Knockhill's fine in a car that can take the chicane.
Knockhill is goated.
In a really small car that can take the chicane, absolutely fine.
Saying Knockhill is goated is unforgivable.
Kev's also going to say Porsche GB.
An opinion's an opinion, but that opinion is wrong.
Yeah.
Knockhill is... I can understand it's good in real life, but that thing, everyone should get a refund for that track, and it should just be deleted, I think, from the game.
I mean, I wouldn't argue with it. It's really fun in like the Ford Legend or something daft like that. Pro 2 trucks.
Pontiac Solstice.
Yeah.
A Jetta.
Nothing's good in a Jetta. Question, in this race right now, what's going through the drivers' minds right now? Fuel, tires, strat. It don't crash, usually, around here. It's like, oh, jeez, right, there's another series of corners coming up. Oh,
I think it depends on the class. I think the likes of Michael in this situation, I think it's simply just...
I mean, Michael doesn't even look like he's trying particularly hard. Like he's pretty chilled out there.
It probably looks quite intense.
Got a little lean going on there.
Yeah, I think Michael will be quite relaxed in this position. He's got all the guys pulling the car along, working for him, so he doesn't even need to push any corner.
Yep.
So it's quite stress-free. I think in the GT3 class, I think they're probably getting into the stage of a little bit of worriness, but I don't really think it'll be that bad. Although Redline are zooming away, they've got a big penalty coming to them, but...
They do, but that gap is sort of stabilised in that sort of 6 to 7 second mark. I know we haven't really talked about the race since about 5 minutes in, but it has sort of evened itself out. Not an awful lot has happened. The 48 still pulling the 49, and actually, to be fair, a bit of a train behind.
A couple of strangers hanging on to the coattails as well.
Indeed. So, yeah, all good. Not much has changed there. The 49 car, by the way, will only have a 10-second penalty to overcome.
Okay.
So, effectively, net leaders. Oh, I think Elias.
They're fighting.
They're overtake. They've done it. Let's go. Would Max just be fuel saving? Probably not, because the tank is slightly smaller here. You cannot make it to the 1 hour mark with how they've reduced the fuel for all classes.
Yeah, you're very limited in what you can do with
the strategy. So you're going to have to make the extra stop anyway. Fuel save's not really an issue or a concern.
But on fuel, I think potentially the swap here, obviously tires is maybe a reason, but I think fuel might be another reason for the swap.
Yeah.
So obviously Elias has been following for a few laps, so maybe Alex is just getting a bit of help for the same reason.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Vince, as long as the lap numbers sort of add up there, but yeah. Yeah, Michael's pulse might be under 60. He's probably working a little bit harder than that.
He's got that FFB cranked.
He does.
A workout.
But also, Michael operates at about 30 BPM just on a day-to-day. Like, if you see him strolling about, he is like, yeah, he is the most relaxed human being.
Yeah, he's a pretty chill guy.
Yeah. Probably too chilled most of the time, but you sort of need to fire him up a little bit.
Lucas' heart rate is roughly 12 at the minute. Man is trying to stay awake.
Yeah. I wonder if he's reading chat. He's found something quite funny there. Maybe that's the heart rate, like, through the roof now.
He's nervous. He knows. Look at him. He knows what we're talking about.
He knows. He knows. Give us a wave, Luca. Give us a wave. Do it.
Who's watching? Let's see who's actually listening.
Is he watching? Is he not? Or is someone just chatting in his ear? Do it.
Hey, Kev's
on the ball. Love to see it. Boring to watch. Well, our stream or the race?
Surely it's got to be the race.
Gotta just be the race, right?
Yeah. It can't be too boring. We've got Michael on screen.
We got.
He's working the wheel there in the
Yeah,
sim.
he's whipping it hard. Look at him go.
Yeah,
there we go.
Nice close up.
Beautiful.
Here you go. For anyone curious about what FFB is actually like for a sim racer, yeah, the curbs at this track are pretty violent.
Alex has just run a little bit wide there. Yeah, back with Michael here. Yeah, coming through the mini carousel there. Pace 10 seconds slower lap. Oh, so everyone's like super chill here? Like everyone's like just saving fuel or whatever? As long as we don't see Michael watching the stream. Yeah, that would be...
that would be cause for concern, I think.
Yeah. I mean, he probably could done straight here.
Is it just me, or does Michael have his in-car rear-view mirror like off to the right on purpose?
He does, yeah. Kev does that as well.
What?
I just have mine in default position. I've never changed it. I think this border is also like extra thick as well.
No, I think they updated that and they put like a little black border on it.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, for some reason they did that update.
See, it shows how much I'm on the sim now. Kev runs default now. Oof. Why is the rear mirror so low? I mean...
I've got to give Kev props actually as well. Went through a little bit of a discussion about everyone's like POVs and how they sit in the car. And I think Kev was like in between at the dashboard sitters and like actually how it should look in the car.
Yeah.
And I think he's come back towards, obviously you can see on screen there with Michael, you can see most of the dash.
Yeah.
And I think Kev readjusted
as
Michael is in. And he's in deep.
Bosh. Get stuck in there, Mikey.
Can he hold it? I think he's going to have a bit of a fight back. Might have it, you know.
He might. And glue apparently now isn't a thing, so let's see how he goes around this out. We'll see.
I don't know who said that statement, but I'm pretty sure that is almost certainly not true.
Not true.
Glue is definitely still a thing. It might not be super glue like before, but there's definitely a bit of Prit stick or something a bit weaker than that about.
Pros don't use bezel cuts confirmed? Yeah, no. I don't see any need to.
To be honest,
it's a nice gimmick, but
I've driven rigs with gaps between the screens,
yeah,
and don't even notice it. Like,
yeah,
I think if you're noticing the bezels, yeah, you're just not focused, or you're just not zoned in enough, I guess.
Yeah, gig FFB though for Mikey there, and yeah, you can see pretty much all of his dash. I like to see at least everything that I need to.
I think that
if there's something at the very bottom of the dash that I like oil temp or something like that I kind of don't care about, then I don't worry about it. But
that's
yeah,
fair.
I've sort of fluctuated a little bit. As long as I can see everything that I need to on the dash, then that's fine.
I find it hard for people, using, for example, Alexander Spets. He's practically sitting on the bonnet like he's playing Forza.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't know how people do it.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of that doing ESL last year. Like,
yeah,
going out to LAN, you actually see how everyone's set up, and there are some guys who
see a lot of interesting things at LAN. A lot of interesting things. Most interesting, for me at least, is people who sim race without gloves.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not exactly a crime, but I think it's up there.
It should be.
Sim racing without any sort of gloves on is vile. It is disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine if you never sweat out your hands, but
yeah,
I mean, who does that? We're all human. Just clean the whip. No.
That'll look cool as well. Yeah. Skin's boring. You've had the same skin forever. Get a new pair of gloves.
Kelly, I have higher seats in game now than I have in real life dash in the wheel. Or now that you have a real life dash in the wheel.
Okay, I could understand that.
Fair.
Yeah, because that was one thing that put me off. I've had a screen on my wheel before, and then my seating position had the dash in game, and I just having the 2 dashes, it was bad. So tried gloves once and felt too grippy.
Weird. Surely you want all the grip that you can muster. You don't want to lose grip of the wheel.
Yeah, there's too much FFB about nowadays to not have. You want all the grip you can get.
Can never have too much grip.
Exactly. Unless, I mean, maybe too much grip's like you can't physically remove your hand from the wheel. Maybe that's about it.
Yeah. But for most cases, unless you're doing like rally stuff where you need to like just flip your hands all over the place kind of a thing.
Protecting your hands as well. Like your hands must be destroyed. Like the palm of your hand must be like cement.
Yeah.
Like with all the calluses.
All the calluses and
yeah, like you can put your hand in lava and feel nothing.
Probably. Yeah, like as Vin said, yeah. I didn't used to, and then once I did, it's like, oh, I should have done this the whole time.
Boots was the thing for me that took a while. It took a while for me to
a really long
go
time
from socks to boots.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing for me really was that it felt like I was walking on a 5p coin because I was doing Porsche Cup at Rebel Ring, and because the surface is so smooth, it's like 100% brake all the time.
Yep.
Start getting a callus on my foot. It's like, this is so annoying to walk with this on the bottom of my foot. I had to start wearing boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took a bit of convincing from Kev as well. Kev was definitely in the corner telling me to get them. I one clogged it for a while, single boot.
Yeah.
And then I went to 2 boots.
Yeah, the only reason why I wear boots is, like my old Husingfeld pedals, like I could get away with not wearing boots. Like it was fine, like it wasn't like a cheese grater on my feet.
Yeah.
The VRS pedals just are that little bit sharper and have a little bit more grip on them. So, yeah.
Jimmy saying, who in the team center likes to smell his gloves? I mean, I'm one of the lucky ones. Like, I don't really sweat from my hands that much, so my gloves smell pretty fresh all the time.
John, on the other hand,
I believe that might have been Michael making a move there on the straight, potentially.
He has, yeah. He's back up ahead into 4th. Now, there's a bit of a gap, though, between the top 3 and then Michael in 4th, and we've got pit stops around. So, funnily enough, there's a race still happening.
Yeah, I forgot all about it for a second.
Yeah, I mean, the chat's been brilliant, so... yeah, so as we've seen there, just at the top of pit lane there, the cars that have to do their mandatory success penalty stop. So they have to stop there and then do their service.
Okay. As
so
you can see now, Elias must have served his.
Yeah. So he's now alongside.
Another aspect, obviously, like there's still contact in pit lane, so that...
Yeah. Just got it, well...
Oh my goodness, as we see right there, that was probably quite close to one.
Yeah.
Good heads-up driving from Elias there to avoid that.
Yeah.
So yeah, now we have a bit of silence.
Yeah, a little bit of, all right, let's see what's going to happen here. It's out and away. That looked like a really short stop, so there probably is quite a bit of strategy involved here. Because the race is 3 hours long and guys aren't making it to the hour, you can probably just splash now and then swap your driver out.
Yeah, true.
Something as well to note, a real-life driver must do at least 8 laps in the race.
Okay, that's good. That was about to be my next question, was is there like minimum drive time or things like that? So yeah, that clears that up straight away.
Yep. How long were the success penalties for each car? So red line was 30 seconds. BS competition number 9 car, I believe, I've got that number right, was 20 seconds, and the 49 AMG ART MSI car. In whatever order those 3 acronyms are supposed to be in, 10-second penalty. So, Elias will be out for probably just a splash, I think, at this point, and then Kev in for the rest of the race. That's how I imagine this will go down.
It seems like they'll probably get Kev in for the longest stint that the car can do, I would say, somewhere around that.
Yeah.
Around that mark.
Alex done, unfortunately, there with... Has to sit a very long time with this 60-second stop run. Like, that's just race done.
It's tough, right?
At this point for these guys, it's just...
It might be a bit of fun if he's coming back through some cars towards the end.
Yeah.
As we see an almighty hack here with the P-Cups going through TCRs, is that it looks like?
Yep. And Michael's lashed right back on to...
Really important phase of the race here. It's very easy to get dropped away from other cars here. But yeah, it looks like Michael's done a good job. He should be able to slipstream up to the cars ahead and
second is still probably just about within range of first.
GT3's back in running.
Yeah. So 1.1 there between the leading Scherer Esports Cup car and Team Redline in second. So that will all probably bunch together. But I think these guys are into pit anyway this time by. So, and then there's success penalties as well. So we'll see how this all shakes out. Just a quick rundown on how that works in Porsche Cup class with the 130 Redline car. It's a 30-second hold. The Share Cup 1 car that is leading the race is a 20-second hold, and then Michael there in the 119. Never mind, these guys are still going through for another lap. My mistake. But yeah, Michael will be taking a 10-second time penalty before then servicing his car. So still in the hunt, still in the mix, but the second of those Sharer cars, the Cup 2 car, in third, basically has like the net lead of the race, all things considered. So those guys are probably in the box seat with the Quanta Esports guys behind.
Loving life.
Yeah, all having a good time there. Luca looks tired.
I think most of the guys are tired this morning, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of us aren't used to getting up so early, as embarrassing as it is to say that, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm probably the exception.
Yeah,
to the
true.
I'm normally pretty good at that. Nah, mate.
He's just in the opponent's heads. They want make it look like he's tired. He is ready.
He's lulled everyone into a false sense of security. I mean, you don't look that awake, Luca, to be fair. Have fun, have bam. Something along those lines.
Yeah, look at that. He's got the gamer juice.
There we go. he's got something on the go. Here, I'll cheers to that as well.
You woke up at 8 a.m. and I don't think I've seen 8 a.m. on my phone in months. Not a chance. I think this is, honestly, I think I woke up, I want to say 9:30, 10 a.m. today. I think that's one of the earliest mornings I've had. I tell you what, that's a lie, actually. I had a delivery day.
Yeah. And
I was up really early for that. But
outside
of that, it's been a while since I've been up before 10 a.m.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I think the latest that I've been up this year is about 9.
What? So what time do you normally get up then? What's a normal morning?
Half 7, 8, something like that.
I can't do that. I used to try. Not a chance. Yeah, I ain't getting up at that time. No way.
Marathon training's kicked in, and it's easier getting runs done first thing in the morning, and I need to run for quite a while. So yeah.
I think the worst I've ever seen. The worst I've seen is Luke McKeown.
No, John has to be worse. John must be worse. I don't know how much you know.
Maybe, but
John operates on just a different plane of reality altogether.
I think Luke's one of the only human beings I've seen that sleeps for the correct amount of time, 8 to 10 hours, and loses energy, wakes up worse. Yeah,
I had a bit of that yesterday. I didn't sleep well the night before. Slept 9 hours. Thursday night, woke up Friday morning, and I was just a complete zombie the whole day. It's like, what's going on? I slept brilliantly, woke up and ugh, can't be bothered with anything the whole day. It was horrible. What time do you go to sleep? Pete, you're usually quite late. I'm like a midnight man.
A normal schedule for me at the minute is, I think I go to bed anywhere from 2 to 4 a.m. and wake up around midday. So that's the 8 hours I roughly get in. But that's the cycle that my body likes to go on, so I just let it do its thing.
Yeah, especially if you're
most of the races,
afternoon, evening.
Yeah, most of the races tend to be in the evening, so
yeah, sleeps you nice and sharp for that.
That works best for me.
Since I'm not racing in anything specific at the minute, and I seem to work all right if I get up early enough. I'm sort of midnight to 8 a.m. sort of guy for my sleep schedule. Each to their own. I used to be sort of on that plane where it was 2 to 4 a.m. and then up at midday, but it's never. It never felt right for me, so.
I've been through it all. I've had some bad sleep patterns, going to bed at 10 a.m. and when I lived back home, it was waking up, going downstairs and straight into my dinner, so. Yeah, I've had some interesting patterns, yeah.
Mental. Michele, we did indeed talk about road license, iRacing, or the iRating split from next season between open wheel and tin top. In general, I think it's going to increase participation just across the board.
In general, I think it's not. It's originally it seemed like it was going to be a lot worse than it's actually going to be. So I don't really. I think it's a smart way to do it. I think it's going to be better. Interesting what the actual reason for it is from their side of things. The only maybe thing that I can think of quickly off the top of my head is just guys who for example, let's say you main GT3s, that's the cars you drive.
Yeah.
But an event happens in an Indy car or an F3 or an F1 car, it stops the guys who have 10k farming GT3, come across and just take the entire top split in a car that they never drive.
Yeah.
So the guys that main that car get put in third split because their iRating's much lower. So I don't know if guys have... Maybe it is just as simple as increasing participation. Yeah, it could just be, but...
It definitely won't be forcing people to use their mains again, because then people won't have a Smurf and iRacing and get less money for that.
Yeah.
People...
I don't really see a negative to it at the minute. I don't know if anyone think of a negative, but...
I just feel like if I want to grind to 10k, I need to do it twice across like 2 different classes.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely increase participation either way, I think, yeah. So people are going to drive races because they don't really care too much. You know, it's just a bit of fun, so there's nothing to protect anymore. If they tanked from 10k to 6k because they're having a hack in F4s and shunt, then so be it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really think it's going to be I can't really see a negative to it. It really doesn't change much.
I mean, for me, there's less reason to race in something that's like high variance, like F4s at Monza. Well, if I'm sat in 9.5k iRating, like I'm not going to hold that if I'm just hacking.
Because it's definitely a problem at the minute. There's definitely been numerous occasions where I think to myself, you know, that would be fun to just go and drive on no prep, and then I think, do I really want to shunt or risk shunting and lose so much iRating? So
yeah,
I definitely think it's a good thing.
Yeah. Michele's, I don't agree with Michele's suggestion that you think they should have made everyone start iRating for the open wheel license. That would have been absolute chaos,
especially for World Championship drivers, and they're all hacking about on 1.3k for the first SOF. Yeah, well.
Yeah, looking forward to jumping open wheels while destroying the IR for special events. I guess that's a valid point.
That's the pro to it. Really,
I think it is genuinely to try and boost participation in the open wheeler stuff.
Yeah, a bit of a shake-up is good every now and then, right?
Yeah.
I say every now and then. It's the first time it's happened, right? I don't remember anything different since the beginning of iRacing for me.
The only thing that's kind of been like this is when they introduced the Dirt Oval license. They originally had it as just the Oval license. So guys farmed the crap out of their Oval iRating on the Dirt stuff initially. And then, like, the Oval license got split into Oval and Dirt Oval.
Okay.
And there are 2 different disciplines, so I totally get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think guys maybe had to re-grind again or something. It was... Yeah, it was a bit of a weird one. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we have to then like qualify in for, like in terms of like, so we got IndyCar maybe sort of coming. There's talks of that.
Fingers crossed. I'm hoping this is the year that IndyCar goes big now that they've got the license back. I hope they take advantage of it and do something, because I think it's definitely a big part of the sim that they've wasted in the past. So obviously a huge shout out to guys like Arjuna who pushed that car and that side of the community quite a lot.
Yeah.
Like if there was a sim racing Hall of Fame, or if there is one, I definitely think. Well, I either hope he's in it, or I definitely think he should be in it.
All right, Porsche Cups are coming into pit. Let's see how this all shakes out.
Like a very good entry from Michael there.
Yeah. He hopefully knows what he's doing. There we go.
Hopefully that's victory lane with him in the middle at the end.
Yeah, hopefully. Just Kev there really quickly. Pretty sure for Dirt Oval to calculate how much iRating you gained on the Dirt stuff whilst you race an Oval, and then give you that. Okay, fair. Did you then keep your Oval, or did they like nuke that back down? Or I assume that you kept what you earned on Oval. A lot like before the split, whatever you'd earned, like you just kept. Yeah, they kept it. Okay. So yeah, the guys who probably like have like 9k on Oval and Dirt Oval and only raced Dirt Oval. So, you know, it goes both ways. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all comes together.
Oh dear, bit of a hairy moment for the GT3s there.
So this is battle for second after it's all shaken out. So even with the 10-second time penalty, it's really just the Williams number 5 car that's really like stretched its legs and got out into the lead. And I'll pull up live timing for the first time today because we've not really needed to. We've sort of seen all what's happening.
Yeah, the overlay from SDK is giving us exactly what we need at the minute.
Yep. And I've got like everything sort of looking down through just on my end here. So Verstappen in the red line car down to P5, 33 seconds off the lead. So I guess they had quite a long stop then in that case.
Or they must have just misjudged it, or I say misjudged it. Obviously, they've probably just played it a little bit safe, knowing that the consequence for getting it wrong.
Yeah. So that's a long way to try and drag that back through. So we'll see how that goes. Unfortunately, done in the 48, a minute and 50 off because it was stop and hold.
Ah, true.
I guess it's just a massive penalty. So yeah, I think then after that you can get your service, but yeah, like last of the runners, 2 cars out of the race in GT3, and I don't have teams up, so I can't.
Did we see if Michael took tires? We did not. We did not see that.
Judging off the pit stop, I don't think.
And I can't even tell you how the P-cut works, if it's tires and fuel at the same time or nothing, because I've never changed the tire in that car in my life.
Stationary time was 31, 32 seconds for most of the front guys.
So, yeah. If that's normal, who knows, right? It's separate. Okay, we've got a few guys that know.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never done a pit stop in the P-Cup. It's always been sprint races. So.
Yeah. Or some guys were stationary in that class for 44, 45, and one there for 49 seconds. So I guess that's where tires would then be sort of on top of it. So cool. We just had Lee in there. Do you want a ban, Pete?
I'm good for now. I'm good for now.
He's good. I'm good as is. He's ready to rumble. So Lee's going to head downstairs and shift and shimmy the camera round, look towards Kev, I guess, even though Kev is not in his rig.
I think he must be a little toilet break before he gets in.
I guess so, yeah. So we'll be looking at this camera because Lee has to go from where we'll look. He's over there, downstairs, shimmy the camera around, come back up, and into the production room. So there's no one in there to actually operate the cameras. If anyone wants to like jump in and have a dip, do you want to have a dip, Pete? Do you want to ship? No, don't do it.
Start clicking things.
Just start clicking things. Just wreck everything.
We're spinning. Look at our sim room. Are we gonna get a trophy cabinet? Here we go. Come on. Oh. The best rig in the house on the right here coming up. There it is. And then Kev.
There we go. Gorgeous. So Kev's still on the ultra-wide monitor. It's what we had for the ESL stuff. I'm still on the CM monitor as well. I don't think it's really much of a hindrance in terms of your like side-by-side racing and stuff. That's obviously like the triples are better in that regard. But if you're on one PC and you're trying to stream off it, like one monitor to output from is like it's fine. It's just about wide enough where it's like, yeah, it's fine. It's not a huge hindrance. I know Johan.
It was really petty stuff that bothered me with the ultra wide.
Yeah.
Compared to triples, and it was just things like being able to see iRacing and then have Discord on this screen at the same time.
Yeah.
That stuff that was the petty stuff that really bothered me. Outside of that, yeah, there's definitely. I don't really think there's a preference for me. You've got pros and cons for both.
Yeah.
But yeah, either or work just the same. So.
Although the price of like the super ultra wide is like the same as 3 regular monitors anyway.
Is it really?
Like they're expensive, so
I guess that's one of the big negatives, right? Is not only the price, but if you damage the corner of the screen here,
yeah,
the whole screen's gone essentially, right?
Yeah.
So at least with triples, you've got the option to swap a single monitor. Not that we'd be damaging monitors anyways.
No, not frequently. No. I've not
yet, at least. Yeah.
No, I've not like put the fist through the the back of the monitor just yet.
No damage.
No damage just yet. Someday, but not yet. All right, so we've got guys then back into the pits. So Elias did 2 laps there, which was his splash, and then
really good job though overall.
Yeah, really
got the car in a really good spot, and then up to Kev then to hunt the guys down in front, and hopefully move up on the podium here, potentially fight for a win.
Yeah. Should be quite interesting to see how this all shakes out, because everyone's probably on like slightly different fuel strategies.
Yeah. At least I think that makes it a bit interesting, the fact that the race is slightly shorter, that there is a bit more wiggle room for small things you can do, rather than being so locked in.
So we've got 4 cars that have continued on. Norby Kish makes it 5. So because I didn't make a note of how long everyone was stationary for, I don't know like how much fuel was probably put on. So slightly in the dark, not sure what's happening, but I'm sure we'll muddle through it fine. Oh yeah, right. So that Williams 5 car that now has Vasilios Belitziotsis in it. That was ahead of us because they didn't have a penalty to take in the first stop. So we're basically on the same sort of strategy as them. Verstappen continued on, Trogan continued on, Dinez continued on. So those guys, yeah, they obviously have taken a little bit more fuel. So it'll take time to shake this all out. Who's Sontag? That's Sammy Matty Trogan. I can't remember who his teammate is in this.
It's definitely a new team name for me. Is it a full-on esports team, or is it similar to, is it like a brand that's partnered up with a current existing team, or? It's definitely a new name for me.
I have no idea.
In both sense, to be honest.
It's another Finnish team that sort of sprung up. There's been a lot of those over the years where they've all...
Verstappen got a penalty, apparently. Now, is this the success penalty that we were all expecting, or something extra? We'll look into that in a sec here.
I'll just take a look at the...
So obviously they had a success penalty from the previous round, so I believe it was 30 seconds they had to stop for.
Ooh!
Something extra, additional.
It is extra. Drive-through penalty. Moving under braking in T1.
For Verstappen, this is?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. I know the start was dicey, but at least from the camera view that we had and the short time that we looked at it, I didn't notice anything too wrong. But
this might have been after the pits where he was like in and amongst traffic. So...
Okay, so this wasn't the start of the race, this was a different lap, or?
Yeah, because it was a protest from the 47 Williams.
Oh, okay, so that makes a lot more sense.
Like after Verstappen like pitted.
Yeah, makes a lot more sense. That's why I didn't think there was anything too wrong with lap 1 in the race. It all looked hard racing, but fair to me. So something off camera we haven't seen, I'm afraid. Yeah, good spot. Thanks for that.
I've got the race control sheet up, but hadn't looked at it. Didn't see anything that was like, oh, I wonder what the issue with this is going to be. Let's see. Not much really else to note. Some warnings, some drive-throughs for other classes, but all pretty chill stuff.
Yeah, well, blame Jimmy because he's got the PC.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't declare either, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll take the blame. That's absolutely fine.
GT3s coming through the GT4s then.
Yeah.
Bit of time to make up then to the Williams car ahead, I believe, is on the same strategy.
Same strategy, so it's about 14 seconds.
And we're just waiting on the Sontec car then to see where they shake out after their eventual stop.
Yeah, it'll take time for all of this to shake out. It's only after the final stop will everyone sort of be on the same fuel load and where they should be on track. So I assume Kev is fueled up to go obviously beyond the 1 hour to go mark. And
so definitely a stop to go for sure.
Yeah. I believe then that the top 6 have 2 stops left. Is how I think it'll work out.
2 stops or 2 stints?
2 stops. Well,
so it should be 1 stop with 145? No? How long's the tank go? A tank can go up to what, 50, 60 minutes maybe, something around there?
But everyone splashed. Not everyone's, but the general strat was to splash.
Yeah, because we've already done our splash. We still got 1, but other guys haven't.
Yeah.
See what you mean.
So it just depends on how they split that up, whether they split it in half or put a full tank in and then splash at the end or whatever. We don't really know until I guess everyone makes their second stop, so we sort of know where everyone's generally at. So it's not net P8, it's probably net P3, I want to say. In and around that mark.
We're definitely fighting for a podium.
Yeah.
It's just how far up the podium. The success penalty, the win's always a bit of a
tricky one.
Yeah, you sort of low-key kind of, it's not on, if that makes that right way to word it, I guess.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, a good stint here or there could change that.
It'll be very tricky for the red line car, I think, to win the race, given the extra BOP that they've got and the slightly shorter race distance. So they won last round with the 30-second penalty.
Really?
Yeah.
My word, how does that happen?
Yeah.
What's that? Did things happen or BOP or what's the deal?
I mean, Verstappen pulled like 15 seconds in the first stint on everyone.
I mean, Verstappen's obviously fantastic, but
yeah,
I think it's definitely a bit more of a car issue than anything, right?
Yeah, his pace was like ridiculous.
Yeah, he's fast, but he's not 30 seconds fast and win the race than some of these guys, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the car was definitely very, very strong. Michael here still in P4, so he took his 10-second penalty. The Share 2 car that's in the lead, leading by 5. There's probably been some bus stop somewhere. Or maybe Michael's just stationing that a little bit longer, again, just to make sure that he was good to go.
I believe they had some sort of mishap before, haven't they? With stop time. I think they might have been short at one point.
Yeah.
And I believe the official reason from the guys was that Michael was using his fingers to count, or he was counting it in his head, rather than using the black box, for example.
I mean, you could set up the video timer.
True.
And just have that somewhere applicable, because I remember that from the burnout days of PESC, where
more bad memories. Every memory at the minute is just something
where you were literally
horrible.
Counting exact seconds on how long so you're just glued to wherever you place your video timer. So all right, I'm starting my burnouts at, I don't know,
X amount of time,
X seconds. All right, I'll do it for 28.5 seconds, and away we go again.
And then miss it by 5 degrees and qualify 10th.
10th? Oh, gee, I would have been happy to miss it by that much and qualify 10th. You miss it by that much, and you qualify P24 and pass, and you're like, oh, well, I got it slightly wrong, my bad. So, yeah, the good old days. So, no matter how bad it is now, we could, we could still have that. Yeah. Do you guys know what this PESC tournament is? So it's the Porsche Taycan Esports Super Cup. It's probably the top championship on iRacing in terms of prize pool, I would say, for sure.
Yeah. Does he mean tournament by the Watkins Glen round?
Possibly.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. The Watkins Glen round. I know. I'm sure there's guys like Johan can explain in more detail. The rough gist of it, the short story, I believe, is that it's fixed setup for one, so similar to Hockenheim on a fixed set.
Yep.
There is an individual prize pool, which is quite beefy, from what I've heard as well. So it is
6.4k just for that round alone.
Pretty good. And I believe it is heats as well. So I want to say 3-lap heats at the track.
Yeah, I think it's like 6 cars in a heat
the oval layout.
Like
yeah. So I think it's just it's my best way to explain it. I would say is it's a rallycross event.
Yeah.
With P-Cup set up around Watkins Glen Oval. So
pretty much.
That is the short story.
I'm surprised that there's no Joker lap that they're finding a way to you have to do a drive-through penalty for one of the 3 laps.
Yeah, that'd be good. The Joker lap is you have to go do the rest of the layout, do the boot and everything, and then rejoin and hope you don't shunt.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if now that we've said that, this sounds amazing, we'll implement it. And then we're not going to get credit for it. They're going to claim it as their brilliant, genius idea that's never been done before.
Even the bus stop is the Joker. You've got people breaking on the racing line as people are trying to go straight.
That's a much better shot. Because I believe it is just the Watkins Oval layout, so there's no bus stop, and it's just the short layout.
Yeah, there we go. A bit more of a detailed description from Johan.
5 heats with 6 cars. Top 2 advance to the feature. Remaining drivers go for a last chance. I mean, it's not going to be a race.
Yeah, it's basically a rallycross race, or a rallycross event, right?
It's going to be a last chance bus stop. Really,
yeah, I think as a viewer, you definitely don't want to miss it.
Yeah, as a driver.
As a driver, I think, I don't think you're really up for that.
Unless you know that you've got no qualifying pace and you just want to have a lob, then...
Well, I guess I say not up for it. As a driver, it's probably quite stressful. But as an event, it's a really good opportunity to earn a lot of cash just by showing up and getting it right on the day for that one event, Yeah. If you have the day of your life, the 60, 90 minutes of your life, you can earn a lot of cash for it.
All it takes for you to be absolutely on point for an hour.
And there's definitely plenty of the grid that can have it.
Yeah, sounds like hell as a driver. So we did Watkins Oval last year in PESC, and I showed up to that with an hour of practice because I was doing ESL the day before, and
sounds worse than hell. I do think it sounds a lot worse than it actually is. I mean, I've driven it once myself, and it wasn't as crazy as you'd maybe think. I've definitely experienced crazier races with F4 and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely very condensed.
Yeah, because it's not straightforward to overtake because everyone's got draft.
5 ads, see you guys in like 5 minutes. Unlucky, Chief.
It's tough out there sometimes.
Yeah.
I didn't set that, so it's not my fault. People usually used to give me crap for that.
What, if you're subscribed, do you get ads?
No, you don't get ads.
No, there you go.
Should subscribe.
It's pay to win, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Get your wallet out.
Yeah, it is definitely one way to do it. Yeah, I guess we're still probably in like the top corner of the thing or whatever, so you can probably still see what's generally going on. So we've got Kevin in the car now. He's whipping away in the 49. Best car number, by the way, in the world. Just I'll throw that out there. I like 49. Where
you guys definitely have quite a lot of races with your numbers. Kev definitely. He's quite lucky. He's 98, right? And we run that in a lot of events. So
yeah, this is the first time that like one of the Teton cars actually has 49 on it, which makes me very pleased. So
let's get the number 50 in there at some point.
Yeah,
Apex 50.
I mean, I'm sure we'll make that happen at some point. I was glad that we were able to do that for ESL. Just sort of run our own individual car numbers. I think Johan was the only one who missed out on his chosen car number. So.
Oh, did someone steal it on him, did they?
I think so, yeah. I think. Could be wrong. But, yeah, where possible, I'll try and run the 49. I was quite pleased that Josh Thompson didn't pick it up for PES this year. I'm like,
did he not?
Oh, he didn't? It's like, oh, well, I'll come back for that someday. Wait till you say. Is ESL
for the fall season?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did get it changed. Is ESL done now, or is there more? Great question. Who knows? I mean, if everything goes to plan, yes, it'll be back.
Positive inklings roaming around. So yeah.
Well, I mean, there's positive inklings and there's negative inklings, and
true.
Who knows which one wins out?
I guess, yeah. Hopefully, though.
Hopefully,
it seems to be the way.
Like, you don't want series to fall in their hole, basically. So.
It's bad for sim racing.
It's bad for sim racing if it doesn't go ahead, basically. So, yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed it does, but...
Yeah, they're obviously working on something big in the background, so it's taking a bit of time.
Yeah, it's taken quite a while, but I can say from our end, we've heard no extra news other than what I guess anyone else has probably heard, so it's still a waiting game. Got the track map up there. It's easy to say about 5 times over. Oh, I smell food as well.
I know I don't even like the food, but it still smells.
It does smell really
nice,
good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can sort of see like where all the classes there are on the track. So GT3 is there in the black, sort of at the top end. They've just gone through the GT4 field. Porsche Cup, you can see how little they've actually like dropped back. Bear in mind as well, those guys had a like delay obviously to their start because they massively segregate the start zones. So the GT3 field were basically through the GP loop when the Porsche Cups started. So, you know, it's those guys haven't lost much time. REP7 are people haven't pitted.
Yeah, we're sort of in the middle of the cycle. Yeah, I feel the same about the new Le Mans game. People who want it to fail are weird. I feel like the people who want it to fail or aren't a huge fan of it. The reason I think people are like that probably are for, I guess, a similar reason. The way I look at it is that on one side it's good. We've got more games, more sim titles, whatever way you want to put it. On the other hand, it's thinning out the herd. You know, it spreads everybody out. So yeah. It's good on one hand, but part of me thinks it would be much better as a whole if everyone was sort of funneled into the one area.
I agree.
All the sponsors, the money, everything all goes into sort of a lot more centralized place. So
I agree.
I think people want it to feel. It's probably more just that reasons that they just don't want things thinned out.
Yeah, and I actually agree with that. Like, I'd rather just have one game that's just the best all around at everything, and everyone just chooses that rather than...
It makes things a lot easier, right?
Yeah. It makes it harder then to determine, right, well, who's actually the best driver in the world? Who, like, where do you actually stack up amongst everyone? Because, like, oh, yeah, like, I've won this championship, but it doesn't include maybe this driver or this driver or this driver.
Yeah, it's always the thing that's like head, right?
It's like, well... Yeah, like, was I really the best, or could someone come in and just, like, wipe the floor with me or whatever? Like, ugh. Just put everyone in to, like, one game, one series, one...
You heard it here first.
just one massive championship of, like...
Yeah.
Like, everyone, and...
Things are just so complicated. Right?
Brand new platform as well, so no one's got a head start on a game or whatever.
Spicy.
Just fires all into something new. and it's the best thing in the world, and then we see who the best is. It'll probably still be the same guys you see at the front, because the cream always rises to the top. But yeah, time will tell. We want these things to succeed because it's good for sim racing, and if it's good for sim racing, it's good for all of us. But I guess a lot of people sort of expect things like the Le Mans game to fail, or even Rennsport maybe to fail. Like, everyone's like, oh, well, you know.
Especially the way things are at the minute with F1 Esports, is it obviously struggling a bit, and you would have thought of all the series, F1 Esport was probably the most rock solid. Yeah. So who knows anymore, you know? Anything could drop at any moment. Yeah.
So we're all just sort of sat on edge, on eggshells, like, it's like, what's happening next? Who knows? But what we do know is that this race is still going ahead, and we're starting to see a little bit more development in terms of pit cycles. Sontech car, which has Dominic Stibe entering it, and then Verstappen as well is still in the Redline 50 car. Sontech car is out and away. Verstappen, I guess, will be out and away fairly soon. We'll see. Maybe not. That's weird. Oh, shoot. He had a drive-through, of course, as well. Yeah, that's going to put them completely out of the running for the win of this race, I'm pretty sure.
Is this the Verstappen car, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Drive-through for moving under braking. I don't know if they had contact or crashed, or...
Not sure.
Seems quite extreme, though.
Unless it was quite a severe, like, just swinger. Like, he's went to the inside and he's, like, pulled the move that he did on, what was it, like, Kimi down the straight at the Camel Straight.
Ah, yes.
A few years ago, where he's like, Kimi went for the move and he just swung straight across and near put both of them into the tree. Can we maybe take a gander at it after this ends? Possibly, yeah. We don't know what lap it was, though, so...
Yeah, we don't know what lap. Yeah, we are... I think we're all a bit in the dark at the minute.
Let me see if I can see it. The problem is, like, we're not going to actually... like, so within our broadcast software, unless there's like a major shunt or a change of position, the ability to go back and view it is like quite difficult because we don't know exactly where it happened. I guess it was into the first corner, but yeah, it was lap 9, turn 1. Lee, if that's any help, we can maybe have a little look at it. Cool. All right, so yeah, we'll hopefully get a look at that afterwards just to see where, you know, what happened there, because it is sort of quite important for how the GT3 race shakes out, because obviously that Verstappen car, or that Verstappen Redline car, was leading and won the previous race and probably had potential to shoot all the way back through the field, so we'll see. If you want, you can take a look at it now. Sure. Yeah, lap 9, turn 1, Lee, if you want to have a little look. So just whilst things are a little bit quieter on...
Kev's flying along. That's all we need to know for the time being. I think the gap's gone from 14 all the way down to 10 or 11 seconds now, so...
Yeah, it's... just over 10.
Let's take a look then.
So, yeah, this will be a bit of a manual job, but all good. So we will take a look and see lap 9.
This must be it then.
This must be it.
Look at that was quick. Let's see what is drive-through worthy.
Okay.
I mean, I personally don't think it's a drive-through. It's a bit naughty, but a drive-through seems a bit extreme, maybe.
That being said, if something like that is in the rules as this is a drive-through, and then you do that, then you can't argue with it.
If it's one of those case.
Like, he's moved, and then
it is a bit late, but
I guess they're probably looking at the fact that, well, that's 2 moves across. He moved across.
Yeah. I still think I think it's harsh. I do think it's very harsh.
I'm inclined to agree.
It's hard racing. Is it moving under braking? Sure, but yeah, I always think moving under braking is much worse when the car has a bit of overlap.
Yeah, there's no overlap there.
But potentially the Williams car backed out even more because
it's like he had to like sort of straighten the wheel out.
I do think that I do think it's quite harsh. A drive-through is pretty extreme for
the thing is, though, I think that they only have drive-throughs.
Certain amounts that they can do.
Yeah, like within what they have. Yeah. Drive-through is like their minimum penalty, whereas I know for the stuff that we do, if we like, I know it's not live shooting, but
Maybe they could do like post-race time or something like that.
Yeah, like a 5-second time penalty or something like that post-race, rather than
a little bit of a slap in the wrist, rather than getting the full
because a drive
shed lobbed at your head.
Yeah, a drive through though, like that's 15, 20 seconds.
Okay, it's still
probably. I mean,
it's still hefty for
that. I think it's harsh.
Bit naughty, but
it's a red line car, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's not us. Are we too upset? Not
no,
really, but yeah.
It probably takes them out of contention for the win, so I'm not going to complain too much. So right, let's see where is everyone at the minute. Okay, so Verstappen. Okay, right. So yeah, he pitted last lap, so he must have taken his drive through and then came straight back in for like service then, because he pitted again lap 11 for 39 seconds, which I guess is like near enough a tank of fuel. MSI car in a bit of no man's land. Fuel strategy and pit strategy still sort of needs to shake itself out a little bit. So
bit of a time trial. It's quite a nice place to be as a driver, though, getting into a car, not having
to race.
Yeah, no pressure. You can settle in on your own and sort of find a rhythm. It's always quite tough in endurance races when you're jumping into the car and you're straight into a 3 or 4 car, 3-4-way battle.
Yeah,
straight in onto the track. It's it's sort of tough to adjust and settle in that way. You're just constantly under pressure. So
yeah, that's like
big stretch for Luca.
Yeah, he's getting ready. He's ready to rumble. He's holding on. He's holding on for dear life. He's getting a good tricep extension there. Something close to it. Yeah, something like that. Go and stretch forward. Lean into it. Oh no, he must have heard me. Stop doing it now. See Michael there still whipping away, and then Kev, as always, looking super chill behind the wheel. Deep focus. It always amazes me how calm and relaxed Kev always looks behind the wheel, considering how he usually operates on a day-to-day basis, where it's just absolute chaos and carnage.
Doesn't sound it, I'll tell you that.
No.
He does breathe quite intensely when he's in the
he does.
in the car.
Oh yeah,
it's quite scary, quite intimidating actually.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to hear that behind you.
Yeah, I feel like everyone has their little tick in the rig. Everyone has their little thing that they do.
I don't know what you do though. You're pretty.
I think the British F4 guys were laughing at me. I think they were poking fun at me. Gordy and Luke bullying me as usual.
Yeah.
I think they were saying I pout my lips or something like that. Let's see. Yeah, Luke's tongue does a little bit of a dance. It has a bit of a dance around its mouth.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's quite funny. I think Sam Soyd said at one point, everyone has something, and once you notice it, it's hard to not see it after that. It's quite funny.
Oh, I know mine, and I don't know if I have all those, but I know one that I definitely do, which is...
Go on then, let's hear it.
I'll clamp down on my tongue.
Oh, really? Mm. Okay, so I guess we can't really see that as such, but yeah.
Yeah, as long as my mouth's shut, you tend not to notice it, but
JV, I actually do nothing.
Yeah, but he drives...
We haven't seen you in the wild with others around you.
He also doesn't drive with much FFB or much brake pressure, or the strength of his brake pedal.
Aren't we all? Isn't this the zone that we all live in secretly?
Is that in response to Thomas's question of how we doing, or is that
true? Who knows? Maybe both.
Maybe both. Copy paste answer for that one. No, we're doing good here. JV driving neutral face. Yeah, I agree. He sucks in his cheeks while racing.
Hopefully the cheeks on your face.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yep, fingers crossed.
I'll take an answer. But yeah, we're doing good here. We've got an hour and 23 minutes left, so we're over halfway already, which isn't too bad going.
It's flown by.
It has flown by. Got to tilt the head for extra grip. We can't do a Will Chadwick or whatever where you're leaning out the seat.
We physically can't because of the restraints. Yeah. The headrest on either side of the chair.
Where he's free to go full Stenny and just...
I don't know how... I find it difficult. I feel like moving my head changes where the screens are. I always find the more still your head is, the better it is to drive.
Yeah, you probably learned that though from snooker, or you've had that drilled in, and you play a bit of golf as well, where keeping your head
staying still is normal. So
it's dead. Yeah. Whereas I'm happy to pivot the head left and right, obviously, and try and keep my eyes. Not that I super consciously do it, but I played a little bit of cricket when I was younger. I've played pool and snooker like yourself. It's getting your eyes down the line of what you're looking to look at. I do it a little bit here, where I'll not glance across. I'll try and move the head where I'm looking to go. Which I don't think you actually move the head really too much at all.
No, my head doesn't move very much at all. Is that why esports guys don't use motion rigs? I think there's a few reasons. I think one, firstly, is the easiest one, is that it's very expensive.
Yeah.
Usually for motion rigs, I'm sure there's some things like butt kickers and stuff maybe aren't as expensive.
Yep.
And the biggest thing for esports guys is everything's about performance for us. If it's not giving performance, that's often why we don't use it. So with motion rigs, whilst it's quite immersive and quite fun, it harms the performance, usually because of the input lag. I think the input lag is probably the best way to put it, right? That's what it is. So, for example, we would hit a curb in game, feel it all the way through our hands, and then maybe half a second to a second later, we're feeling it through our bum.
I think they've generally got better, or some of them have got better, but...
Even if they were perfect and it was realistic, I still don't think esports guys would use them. Because it's just, there's no performance gain from a motion rig, so I think that's why most guys won't use it.
Unless your background is purely from a real-life perspective.
Yeah, like Daniel Morad, for example, uses one, then I could understand it.
But for us plebs that have never done that...
Never experienced much G in our lives.
Yeah, it's a hindrance rather than a benefit. White Team Redline P12, 2 penalties. One, the success penalty from winning the previous race, and then second, drive-through. And then they pitted, and we're still in a weird pit cycle as well. I was busy reading chat, and apparently Michael did nearly stack it. Oh, he's just taking the wet line. It's fine.
A bit wider than he would have wanted.
Right. He's all right.
I'm sure he probably panicked for a little second there.
Does that man look like he's panicked? No. He shook the head. No, he's not panicked.
He's loving life.
What about the lean of Ian? I don't even know who Ian is.
Lean of Ian. Sounds like a Monty Python spin-off.
Yeah. Life of Brian or the lean of Ian. I like it.
Left and right in my rig from karting.
So if you've got a karting background where, like...
Hopefully proper
shifting.
karting. I've seen people leaning in team sport.
No.
In a rental cart.
Yeah, don't put that.
It's the stiffest thing on the planet.
Yeah.
Which is quite funny to look at. What teammate would you have for each category? Don't be afraid to upset people.
Well, it depends on the category.
And even still, I think most of the guys, like if you're quick in one thing, you're probably going to be quick on most. But I do think there's definitely you could easily split our team into downforce stuff and GT stuff. I think that would be not too difficult.
Yeah. There's some crossover there, but in general, we have our like defined.
I think if we split it by that, I think at the minute with the GT stuff, it's hard to look past guys like Alejandro and Luke.
Yeah.
I think based off of the previous races and how things are going, for example, Pesk and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think those two are probably the top of the pyramid at the minute. Downforce stuff's a little bit few and far between with races, but without being too big-headed, I definitely think I put myself probably up there in that category.
Yeah, I'll put you
but
up there.
We definitely have a lot of guys. Like, for example, Luke is very good in the single-seater stuff. We've seen that from British F4. We've got...
And that's your point, where Luke's just good in everything.
Yeah, he's great. You know, we've guys like Owen, Kelly. We've loads of guys who could flip across both categories as well. Yeah.
Pete Imsa at Nürburgring, greatest of all time.
Yeah, that was fun.
It's a good week.
Yeah.
Easy iRacing.
The ARA setup was fantastic. Hopefully nobody complained about it because I loved it the entire week and just ran with it. No stress. But yeah, I was enjoying that week. It was quite fun.
That was the first time you'd ever driven the Acura?
Yeah. Just purchased the Acura, did 2 laps of practice, and then sent it on the ARA dock and just raced it the whole week. So that was quite fun.
Shows that our sets are pretty good.
Yeah, the set was great. Straight out the box. No work needed. Couldn't be bothered changing anything, so we just went for it. Yeah, hopefully we see you on back soon. Yeah,
it's been a tough one for him, but...
yeah, I've seen a few things on Instagram. Look like he's getting back behind the wheel, so... Not kill chicane. Gordy, mate. At first I was going to blow up, and then I seen
who it was.
My opinion on the knock kill chicane is... at Gordy Much Racing, the GOAT. Never seen anyone go through that chicane like it's a straight.
Yeah.
As well as you. Yeah.
It's got that Scottish BOP on it.
I was getting...
2/10 through there.
If that was real life, I think I'd have spinal injuries. I don't get it, yeah. That stuff is witchcraft. I don't really understand it, but yeah.
Yeah, I struggled through there in F4 whenever I did it. that 1 year.
I think
in a tin top car, I think it's generally okay, but not.
What head cracked me so much was that even standing behind Gordy's rig, I would watch, I would look at the inputs, almost nothing different, literally nothing,
but he just had,
and his car just goes through. He
just had the touch for it.
It's unbelievable, yeah. Never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
Closest thing's probably Kev and Porsche GB. With the same chicane. Yeah, Gordy was unreal. Absolutely unreal there.
It's just the Scots at Knockhill, that's it.
Yeah, what is it? Maybe that's a thing. Maybe we need a few Northern Irish tracks.
Kirkeston.
Yeah, Notts Corner, Notts Corner Oval. Let's go for a hack.
Yeah.
The Arcas.
Kirkeston and MX5 would be pretty good, I reckon.
Yeah.
It's got 5 corners. It basically is an oval with a little backstraight chicane.
Get it scanned, iRacing.
290 rides, a little dinky chicane, and then
Eddie Irvine's car track.
Yeah.
I think I've been there once or twice in my life.
I've never actually been.
Have you not?
No,
I mean, it's not something I would say is worth going. Like, it's not amazing, you know, but I would suck Nuts Corner. Fantastic. Yeah, Eddie Irvine's is it's very small. I think I've been in Eddie Irvine's for the snooker tables, actually, because they have a snooker team.
They do,
Eddie Irvine's.
Yeah.
So I've actually been in there for that reason as well. I think it's actually quite a good place, Eddie Irvine's. There's lots of stuff in there.
Yeah. It's just a little bit out of the way for me because I'm the other end of the country.
Yeah, for me, it's just around the coast and we're there.
Yeah. All right. How are we shaking up now? Kev's up to P5.
And he's closing in on the Suntech car slowly but surely.
Yeah, that gap's under 10 seconds now, so that's good. Stretch the gap. Some of those behind. There's going to be more pit stops in the next lap, and it's probably the one after that as well. Nobi Kish in the number 9 BS competition car, so that was the second car with success penalty. So we'll see where they shake out. We should be ahead of them, I would hope, I would think. Just sort of depends again on how much fuel everyone needs to take home for the final stop, because everyone's had to fit an extra 2 laps in somewhere, and what way you divvy that up might change. So
Michael's finally got some friends on track. He was on his own for a while there, so I believe that's the P3 car ahead, if I'm not mistaken. Not sure if it's traffic. It's definitely the P4 car slightly ahead.
Yeah, P4 directly ahead. Let me just check. Yeah, P3 cars as well there. So yeah, that's a little train there for the podium at the minute. Again, we'll sort of see how this all shakes out, but it kind of looks good for the 2 guys first and second at the minute. Yeah, I think Michael's probably looking towards P3 by the time that he pits, and then Luca takes over.
Iguana hat today for Mr. Johnny, yes. Yep. The Iguana cap is, anytime he's on camera, the Iguana cap comes out. And for the sim rigs at your sim racing house, can the drivers choose if they want triple screen or ultra-wide monitors?
We were all triple screen up until we started.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we can choose, because I don't believe we've got an unlimited supply of ultra-wide monitors. I think we had ultra-wide monitors, obviously the guys doing Rennsport, that were the rigs that were being used at Lammer and ultra-wide, so we definitely got a few of those in. So it's not like we have an endless supply that everyone could use, but yeah, there definitely is a little bit of choice. Some guys prefer to go back to triples, and some guys just stick with the ultra-wide.
Yeah.
So I guess, yes, to answer your question to a certain extent.
Triples generally are better, but I mean, there's pros and cons to both. If your PC can quite easily handle churning out 300 FPS across 3 screens, then yeah, no problem. You'll pick triples any day of the week, sort of a thing. But if you're a little bit limited in frame rate,
or space or something, yeah, exactly. My room is too small for triples. Yeah, space can be a reason as well.
Is Johan racing tonight? I believe so.
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah. As far as I'm aware, everything's going ahead like normal.
Yeah. It's going to give it a big old lob.
And for the back-to-back at Le Mans.
That's it. Yeah, if you already have to squeeze past your rig to get into bed on a semi-ultra-wide, then yeah, triples would be a challenge. At least then you would have like...
Triples would make my bed inaccessible. Just sleep in the rig, get rid of the bed, and you've got extra space for something else. Yeah. A second rig, for example.
Or just drive from bed. Just put the bed in where you would sit and just, sit. Feet up. Yeah, you have Netflix on 3 screens then.
Quite big nice. Run for Michael then. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to clear the car to his left with the side draft, so it's going to be a bit of a hairy one here.
Oh,
as you can see.
Yeah,
nicely done. I think both cars realised it was a bit of a sketchy spot and
tried to give as much space as possible.
Still plenty of.
Good racing. Good, sensible.
Good move from Michael.
Yeah.
We march on
up to P4.
What's my sock doing?
Oh dear.
Apologies.
He's overtaken PB Performance there. PB. Peter Barron.
I am not affiliated with them or an owner of that team whatsoever.
No. But I suspect the shower car and Michael thought they were maybe just a little bit quicker. So that's why Michael pushed Luca there, Luca Albert, who's in the second of those Share Esports cars, through, and maybe they'll like sort of work together to try and bridge the gap between themselves and second place, which to my timing here says 12.5 seconds to second, and then it's another 5 up to the lead. What sort of FPS and fresh rate monitors would you guys recommend to highest you can sensibly get without?
Yeah, the higher the better. There's really not too much negative at all, really. To the
only I know there's monitors out now that have like 300 hertz refresh rate and stuff like that.
Probably a bit overkill, I guess, right?
It's hard to like for sim racing, especially if you're trying to like run triples. It's very difficult to try and like have a PC that can make the most of that.
Yeah.
That's the hard thing. That's the tricky thing. So I know that we've got the ultra wides that are 240 hertz, which are pretty good. I don't think we really need much more than that. 144 is generally a sweet spot, especially if you've got triples. I think our triples, some of them I think are 165. And again, as long as we can, use all of that and just sit glued at 165, then it's fine.
Yeah. The guys that drive in the Apex facility also sleep there. Yes, we do. We're quite blessed in that sense that we were able to live on site.
Yeah. Not the same building though.
No, we've got 2 buildings. Yeah, sick. It is indeed.
Which share car had the championship lead? Fantastic question. I have absolutely no idea. I would assume it was
the one with the success penalty that's now P3, I'd probably guess, right?
Yeah, I would say so. So yeah, that car had a 20-second success penalty. And actually just pulled ahead there of Michael, just sort of through
a little bit of
traffic.
Yeah.
It's great broadcasting, closer to IRL than most enthusiastic sim racing commentators. Oh, thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Neither of us have a clue what we're doing.
Not really, we're sort of just having a chat, watching a bit of racing, I guess, like the rest of you guys. So.
It's a chat with you guys, and then a race is on in the background as well, and then we can talk about the race, or we can talk about what you guys want to talk about. So.
Yeah, any questions, just fire them in.
Yeah.
Within reason, I hope.
Yeah, within reason, definitely. Definitely. We're not going to talk too much more about Nuts Corner, will we?
No. I think Gordy killed that one dead,
I think he did. Yeah, so yeah, the idea of these streams is it's almost like an open podcast with a race happening in the background. So like we'll go through like what's going on in the race and series and standings and the rules behind it and stuff like that. But we'll deviate off into different topics. So like we've covered like multi-class stuff and our differences on that. Favorite tracks. We've talked about the iRacing split. We've talked about rain coming in. That even though that yes, we're doing a stream for our guys in this series, and like the race is happening, but it's not like the only thing that we're talking about. Like we've not mentioned anything really about the GT4 TCR or GR 86 class because it doesn't really concern us. Like it's fine. It is what it is. Gavin saying it how it is. He's going to terrorize the open wheel guys. It is going to be interesting to see how like officials sort of go down.
I think I said earlier there was no negative to the split.
I mean,
that comment does give me one thing, is that I do hope that, in a similar reason to why people hate Smurfs, I hope people don't just go in and think, I don't really care about my iRating because I don't race these cars. You're getting lobbed from 6/10 back.
I think you're going to get a bit of that.
I think that's going to be one of the struggles as we finally see the
Falcon Sim
on-track leading GT3 in the pits.
I still think there's a couple more that need to pit.
Yes, I believe Sontech are essential. Is it No, it might be the P2 car. Is it? I believe is got net lead, or is it the Sontech car?
Yeah, no, the P2 car is net lead.
So the Williams car is the net leader. So,
so we are net third then, but it also depends on how much fuel everyone needs to take in the final stop to make it to the finish. So in that last stop, so I actually do have some info. We were stationary for about the same time as that Williams 5 car. We pitted on the same lap. We obviously did have a success penalty. So gap there to the lead is about 16 seconds. The 22 car, the Sontech car that's in second, pitted on lap 11 and pitted for 4 seconds less in the box. So does that equate to 2 laps? Probably not. So they might go a little bit deeper and are maybe in a better shot for winning the race. Again, we'll see how it shakes out at the end. Don't know as well whether, maybe we put a little bit of extra fuel in the car before it allows us to stop, and then, it means that we just fueled, or maybe we added an extra lap or 2 and then pitted them early to miss traffic, maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah. So there's still some unknowns there, but I would say we're probably net P3. There's a bit of a gap behind to the 7 AS competition car and the 9 as well, but those guys have just pitted as well, so they're more likely to have a bit of a splash as well.
That looked way closer than it probably felt for Kev, but
probably
always a bit sketchy watching that poor little GR86 near got sent to
orbit,
sent to heaven.
Yeah. So there's still quite a bit of time for this all to shake out. There's Alex Dunn in. Will he jump out? No,
say P nowhere, I guess, right?
P nowhere because of
on their own with the
huge penalty at the start.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Gavin's point there, all his experiences in tin top, so he's going to be way too high for the open wheel splits. So it's going to be interesting for guys who it might still not incentivize them to race because they've got more, or they got all their iRacing in one discipline within road racing, and now they'll be sitting there. It's like, all right, well, maybe I've got like 3K iRacing in open wheel. I've never touched it before. Like, why would I race?
Yeah,
because I'm just going to lose iRacing. Not that I think that should matter. I feel like everyone should just race what they want to race, and wherever your iRating lands is where it lands.
Yeah.
Unless you're like farming for top split
I do feel like that is one of the negative things about the whole iRating system, right? Is that once you get to a certain point, a certain level, everything just revolves around that.
Yeah.
Well, I can't race this because if I have a shunt, then that might affect my ability to race top split Sebring in a few weeks.
Yep.
And it just takes away completely from just the aspect of racing. Yeah. It's a bit of a negative point to it, right? So rather than just racing what you want to race when you want to race it, you sort of can't do that.
Yeah. But I feel like though, for those who are anything under 5K iRating, I would say, just race what you want when you want your iRating.
At that point, there's just no point worrying about it. I think you just enjoy what you want to enjoy, and that's that.
The iRating will land where it does.
Yeah, and because the level of iRating you're at, it's very easy to lose 100 and gain 100 very quickly in a couple of races. Whereas you get up to the 9 and 10Ks, losing a 150 iRating could be a week's worth of work.
Yeah.
And,
I'll combine those two questions from Timo and Vince together about requirements to join RRT. So, I mean, there's two different ways. One, you're someone who's like an established top driver that we want to bring in, in which case you probably come straight into RRT.
To be honest, I think it's a lot. I think it's a lot easier to get in our team than people would maybe think.
Yeah,
in all honesty, I don't really think it's that. You have to hit this. It's really not as bad.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'll let you finish your point.
Yeah, and then Apex Racing Academy applications. So we run them usually around twice a year.
I think so, yeah.
Usually.
Somewhere.
We'll open it up and anyone is free to apply.
Yeah.
As long as you've got an iRacing account, and we'll bring people in and we'll trial them. We'll put everyone through their paces to the best of their ability, make sure that they're the right fit for what we're looking and what we want as drivers for
In short, I would say
ART?
For ART, speed is probably a huge factor.
Yeah.
Speed ultimately, and I'm sure everyone can understand that. With the Academy, speed isn't necessarily a big factor at all. Certainly there's, to an extent, a little bit of a factor, but I think the biggest thing, and this probably goes for any team, it's just working with people, understanding how to work with people, and not only that, but especially for guys coming into an academy, it's all about learning.
Yeah.
You've got to use everyone around you to improve. We've all been there at some point, so obviously you're going to have, you know, us pro guys you've really easy access to us, so asking questions, you know, being involved, trying to improve actively on the regular is going to be a huge part, going from, for example, ARA up to ART.
Yeah. I would say, though, there probably needs to be at least some base level of speed, because we can only bring in so many people.
Like if you're 20 seconds off a lap, like, whether we like you or not, it's gonna be tough to move forward.
Yeah.
As we see Michael almost have a big one again.
Almost, yeah.
And concentration levels probably going, just being out on his own.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a struggle. He sort of got dropped off the back there of the other sharer car. Yeah. Probably going to have to settle for P4, sort of looking at it. I think we're coming to that point as well where he's on double stint tires and track temp's quite hot, so he's struggling. Yeah. Tires. Yeah, as Lucas said.
How dare you give him an excuse? Oh, really?
Meatball.
A meatball?
What, punctured or actually hit something?
What?
Oh my goodness. So the tire...
I can't help but laugh, I'm sorry.
The tire's absolutely gone then. Oh, not punctured?
But like what?
All right, okay. I guess he just, yeah, it is punctured. All right, so tires at 0%.
I did wonder, like, when you did say that it pulled away, I wonder how the gap had gone so quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I apologize, Michael, for bullying you for your mistake.
The fact that he's kept it out of the wall, I think, is a bit of an achievement.
I mean, that sucks. Like, it's ruined a really good opportunity for a result there.
Yeah.
I don't really know what you can do different. I mean, as much as they want to say puncture, the car is driving suspiciously well for it. Well, to be honest, I've never had a puncture in iRacing. I don't know what it's like.
I've had one ever, and it was, I was doing a IGPS race at Silverstone way back in the day, where you could no-stop it, or one-stop it, whatever way you sort of felt. Huh. The no-stop was quicker as long as you didn't puncture the tire. I punctured the tire as I crossed the finish line coming into T1 on the final, like as I finished the race and turned in for T1, left front completely went, and it was just skidding. Like it just, whole thing just fell on the left front.
Well, in that case, he's doing pretty solid.
Yeah. It depends on which tire's gone though. Logically, like, it's going to be a rear tire that's went. Oh, jeez.
What a shame, man. Yeah. What a shame for results.
I mean, he's still only dropped 10 seconds off the back of the Sharer car, like, at this point.
Yeah, hopefully they can still recover. It's going to be a...
Left rear?
It's going to be a big,
like
loss, whatever way you want to look at it. But, yeah, what a shame.
I don't think the puncture, like, looks as bad as the one that I'd experienced, because he's still able to, like, tickle on at a reasonable pace here. Yeah, the equivalent that I had was, it was left front, and like, if I had to do another lap at Silverstone, it was like, I'd probably lose 15, 20 seconds maybe. He's not lost that much, I think, in that time frame.
I mean, the car's going all right. It's not obviously going on all cylinders, but
no,
it's not doing terrible.
Considering the, like, unknown that you would have if the tire's like, meatball tires under 25, no,
I don't think so. I don't
think so.
Yeah, I genuinely don't believe you get a meatball at all until it punctures.
Until it punctures at 0%.
But I'd be surprised if it had punctured, right? Nobody else has had the issue, so...
Yeah, it's a weird one, because like, he was still able to take a right-hander there, like a medium-speed right-hander, like, kind of okay.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll find out once they get to the box. They'll be able to get a better idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
But obviously, at the moment, they haven't hit anything, so tires is obviously
I mean, he is still bleeding time. We've got the Quanta car 1.1 behind now.
Yeah.
But if this is the speed that he's driving on a genuinely punctured tire, that's mental. That he's able to sort of hustle it as quick as he is. In real life, if you had a puncture and you're doing 200 odd kp, you're just wrecking the rear of the car, bodywork flying off and everything.
Oh, managed to hold that sneeze without blowing everybody's ears out.
Yeah, he's done a good job. Oh, he's definitely got no grip, but the fact that he's still pushing, basically. Yes, he's lost his chunk of time.
Not hanging about. He's definitely getting on with it.
But he's probably lost less time than what you would lose from a drive-through, maybe. If considering how early in the lap that he, he's only lost 6 seconds. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Probably losing a little bit of speed down the straight as well. Not even. His speed kind of still looks all right there.
Just clear the nose there.
Clear the nose out. I think you just got to let the Quanta car go.
Yeah, don't get involved in any funny business here.
Yeah. Porsche Cup guys are then due in this lap, I think. Could be wrong. Yeah, no, I think they're all coming in. Yeah. Oh, boy.
Ready for the orange car? Or the
Quanta
car, rather.
All right, survive.
I'll probably take it easy on pit in as well, just in case.
Yeah. I mean, visually, the car actually still looks okay, but again, we're just going off of, spectator view.
Oh,
it's maybe
dear.
not super accurate.
That's something that'll need to be looked into after the race on what's went wrong, because obviously...
Yeah. I don't think anyone else has had that issue.
Yeah,
so.
nobody else seems to have struggled. So
Michael's trying a new rally stage. Yeah, get him on WRC with me. So Luca will jump into the car. We'll get talking to Michael as well, probably after the race.
Yeah, I'm sure we can get a better explanation.
Yeah, we can get an explanation from him.
On.
Dora also struggled a bit. Yeah, it's probably a question that we need to actually ask Michael and Luca. What actually went on? What happened?
Unfortunately, it's a bit stale in both classes at the minute. Yeah, even despite that, there's just not much going on. Kev's still slowly trickling in towards the Suntech car.
Yeah.
Gap to the Williams cars stayed pretty stagnant. So.
Yeah. But if Michael's only really lost, maximum 10 seconds, despite all of that, with the uncertainty of,
the spread's pretty good going. Yeah,
I think he's done a good job there getting that back in. Generally one piece, because I would assume that the off that he had was tire went to 0% and it just
yeah, he's hit a bump, the tire hasn't liked it, the car hasn't liked it, and yeah, it's gone into survival mode, let's not die, and luckily there's no barriers in the way.
Yeah, I think once he got a feel for it, he looked like he was still driving okay, just had to lift in certain places and stuff like that, so
yeah, tough scenario.
Yeah, really
very few people in the game have experienced the tire that's blown up, so
yeah. I remember... Oh, do you remember Steve Michaels?
I remember the name.
So he was doing an IGPS race at Suzuka, I think it was, and it was another one of those 2/3 distance. He didn't take the tire, blew up with 4 to go, and he tried to drag it around. He was leading the race by 15 seconds because he hadn't stopped, and it completely the right front went, and he tried to go through Spoon, and
not ideal.
Yeah. See. I think he just hung on and just stayed out. He finished 5th or 6th, whatever, but lost 35 seconds with it. I don't think Michael lost as much time with that. So maybe it operates a bit different now. I'm talking 2016 is the only time I had a puncture, so it's maybe a little bit different now, but I'm not sure. We'll see if Kev here can make any inroads on the Suntech car. Gaps down to 8.2 from it was 14. So.
Yeah, I believe it was around 14 when he first got in. So he's definitely flying along, as you can see here on cam.
Yeah, but I suspect his final stop needs to be a little bit longer than Suntech car. So we'll see. Time will tell. He pitted on lap 9, come to the end of 16. So I think. We'll see how it shakes out.
did we see IRL the 56.6 lap at Bathurst in the Merc? I did see this. Mercedes AMG and Jules Gounon. They modified a GT3, few aero adjustments. I think DRS. They took the restrictor off it, so I think it might have been 650 EHP. I want to say, if someone can maybe correct me.
Oh, why can't we just raise that instead of what we have for GT3?
And yeah, so they blitzed the GT record round there by 2 seconds, I want to believe, from previous. Yeah, Jules was cooking. I want to say the car was doing like 302 at the end of the straight, something like that, unrestricted.
Yeah, that's pretty nutty.
Yeah, the GT3s are quick. I think that's one aspect of the GT3s that people don't actually realise, is that the cars are a lot quicker generally than they show up, just because of all the restrictions with BOP and everything.
Yeah. And I guess like why they have it like that is it generally keeps costs down, so that they don't just start putting like expensive bits onto the car that will make it a lot quicker. Like just keep it to like, all right, this is the speed that the cars should be going.
Yeah, it makes it tough for the manufacturers as well. You know, like they bring out a new car. It's not like the new car comes out and you're down the road. It just doesn't happen because of BOP and everything. So, yeah, it's tough to find different ways to make your car fast, whether it be, you know, the punch out of the corner, but then you need to add drag to your car to, obviously you can't just have it all, so.
Sure. Kev into pit now, as is Vasilios.
So final stop then, so this is sort of, finally we get to see where everyone shakes out and
yeah, well, I mean,
scenario is roughly.
Our guys are like the first of the final pitters, so where it ended, or where we were at just before the pit, is probably pretty close to where we're at. There's going to be some guys further down that had pitted later in the last stint, and then still taking quite a bit of fuel, who'll jump a little further forward. But in general, I think third is generally where we're at, hopefully looking towards second.
Quick rip of the vape. Get in there, Kev.
He's on it.
Love to see it.
Try to hide it, but no.
It's bad for your health, kid.
It is bad. Yeah, don't do it. So all it says is you drinking a Bam and me drinking a Monster.
I didn't drink it.
Never touched it.
Wasn't me.
Fake news. Wait to see the electric van go around Bathurst.
Is it going round, or you're just saying that as a meme? I hope it is going round. It would be quite funny to see that thing ripping around the walls.
I know nothing about this.
I haven't heard about it either myself, so.
Or what electric van? Do you know anything about it?
Yeah, have you not seen it?
No.
You should look it up. You should look it up. They've got this, I don't know the exact model of van, but they've just got like a minivan.
Right.
And they've just got it hooked up with these massive batteries, the Red Bull van. At least that's the van I'm thinking of, unless it's something different. But
it must be the same thing.
There's definitely a few things out there I know of, but...
I've totally missed this, somehow.
Yeah, they've just got the thing hooked up with batteries, and it's an absolute rocket ship.
Cool. All right, Kev out and away. P7 having completed his final stop. 13 seconds behind Vasilios in the lead AMG.
Slight gain there then, right?
Slight gain, but 13 seconds over the stint's going to be tricky to try and
as you've seen, the last stint, essentially nothing changed really. It was 16 seconds for the majority of that, so.
Yeah. But should be good to the end. He was, 2 seconds quicker, or 2.5 seconds quicker through the box there, or through pit lane. So, on we go. Back with Luca now in P10. There's some guys that have went longer on this stop. Just heard a bit of a shunt there. All good?
I don't know if it was just scraping from the GT4 potentially.
Probably. Okay, all good.
But yeah, it did sound a bit...
I was looking at the timing and it looked
didn't sound good for a second.
It's like, oh, okay. I think Luca near Barry's like, oh, did we shunt? Okay, no, we're good. All good. So, yeah, lost a bit of time, lost a bit of ground. 1, 2, 3, 4. So probably like net P5, P6, something in around that after the issues.
Bit of an awkward moment here, trying to get past the GT4.
Yeah, but negotiated well. GT4 is probably like one of the better classes as a like slower class, because they're not especially quick in a straight line, nor like they don't have like a weird strength that makes it hard to overtake them.
Yeah, it's pretty even across the board.
Yeah. It's a neutral sort of car. It's not like trying to overtake Porsche Cup as a GT3 where, yeah, you're quicker in the corners, but like you're actually slower then down the straight.
Yeah.
or like it's a little awkward overtaking TCRs if you're like a GT4 or something like that, because the TCRs are very good on the brakes, as an example. So like you go to try and like lunge them into a corner, and you
think you're in lob range, and then all of a sudden you're not.
Yeah, so GT4
just hanging in this no man's land.
Yeah, GT4s and LP3s are perfect for multi-class with each other. Okay, cool. I think you have.
I've experienced it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've experienced it all. You know, GTP overtaking GT3 and whatnot. So
yeah, GT3 or sorry, LMDH and LMP2, I guess, are like quite.
It's pretty awkward. Yeah, it is. It's quite awkward. The braking performance is quite similar, and the cornering performance is quite similar. It's mainly just the straight line or top end speed.
Gotcha.
Tracks it like Daytona. Daytona was a real problem. It was, you know, if we had two LMP2s slipstream each other, we would maybe get one of them and couldn't get the other.
Okay, yeah,
so you did get stuck in a lot of these awkward moments. So you do rely on the LMP2s to sort of play ball and help, like, give up a little bit of time themselves, so we both lose 2/10 rather than, you know, the GTP losing a second and a half and they don't want to give up anything kind of thing. So
yeah,
you do get stuck in a bit of these awkward moments every now and then.
Yeah. Whereas, you know, it's quite easy to go the opposite way, where some like LMDH and GT3, like the closing speeds maybe a little on the big side.
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like,
or maybe that's still just about okay.
It's quite big. It's definitely on the extreme side.
LMP2 and GT3, I'd say, are quite good.
It's quite solid, yeah. With GTP and GT3, I feel like most of the crashes and things like that, people put down to, miscommunication. But in all honesty, I think, at least from my experience, most of the crashes come from either both or one of the cars refusing to want to give up time, accepting that I'm in a multi-class race, and at some point I need to compromise. And I think that's generally when the crashes happen, is that maybe you've got two GTPs right behind each other, and that lead GTP gets a bit desperate because he thinks, I've got a guy right on my back, like, I need to make the move.
Yeah.
And then they maybe lob it, and that's when a crash happens. Or vice versa with a GT3 thinking, I don't want to give up time, you know, and they don't want to give space, and that's when a crash happens, when that GTP's maybe used to overtaking cars throughout the race in that place.
Yeah.
So that tends to be the reason, usually, from my experience, that crashes happen. It's just people not wanting to, or at least accepting that they don't want to give up any time.
Yeah. You do get the odd, like, miscommunication here and there.
It does happen. The odd mistake where someone sends it and it's definitely not send range. It does happen, but it's definitely a lot rarer than people maybe think.
Yeah. I know someone who's probably a little bit more experienced in being in the slower class than the quicker class. I've never really had too many issues with the faster class, as long as like if you're going to commit to a move from really far back, like, go for it, but just as long as I know that you're going to do it,
it's all about predictability.
Then I'll back off on entry and you can have it, sort of a thing. It's never a
big death for PB performance.
I hate to see it.
That was unfortunate. My team's in the bin.
His team's in the bin. All right, something else has happened.
I know that the commander car, as you can see, has just gone to pit lane, so I think there's
okay,
I
yeah.
see.
So they've had an issue, a shunt, something, and they've like looped round, but they're not driving. So
I had this happen during Nords Week, actually, during the IMSA stuff.
Yeah.
On the timing sheet, it actually showed that an LMP2 had beat me on track. But yeah, obviously, once everyone cycled through it, finally gave them a penalty. But for a while, it showed me as like second overall. It's quite funny.
I remember, it wasn't a race I was involved in, but this is like way back when I was sort of starting out. It was a race at Brands Hatch where someone shunted like before the start. Like, it was like off a standing start and all hell ensued. They didn't make the T1, they towed. But it had set them back. Like, they hadn't gone past their pit stall or something like that. So, and it was like a D-class series, so they had a faster pair. They towed round, took their faster pair, went out and won the race. They were like half lap clear of everything. It didn't give them the penalty because it was like, still, you know, it was just such a weird thing, and it never clearly happened before, and iRacing didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah, as Ben says, it was the last lap, and because he towed, it put him all the way around to pit lane, and the game thinks he's a lap ahead all of a sudden, until it finally figures itself out.
It takes a little while, but yeah, that was a case I remember where it didn't sort itself out, and it.
Well, that's the thing. As McKelly says, I panicked a bit. He says it's funny. You wouldn't lose iReading if you get beat by an LMP2 if you're LMDH. That's what I was freaking out about. I'm like, are you kidding? Am I gonna like actually lose iReading for finishing second? But yeah, because it's different class rather.
Yeah.
Everything works out fine. As Somtech are into the pits.
They are indeed. So we'll just keep an eye on where they shake out. Let's see.
The gap, I want to say, was what? It was around 7 to 9 seconds, somewhere around that margin, right?
8 seconds.
Yeah.
Between 7 and 9, yeah. 8.
Perfect.
Works out.
So we'll see if we've made any gains. It seemed like Kev had a decent stop, so...
The only thing is, though, that the Sontag car would have been on light fuel and Kev on heavy fuel.
That's the worry if he's going to...
So, Trogan is out and away. Gap is 11-ish, which kind of makes sense. They had to take less fuel on board and had the lap of less fuel as well. So
it's tough to come back from these success penalties. It's
tricky.
It's tricky, yeah.
Interestingly, though, Trogan's come out 3 seconds behind the Williams car in the lead. That wasn't the lead. Okay. So, like, that's...
Best case scenario for us is that they maybe fight a little bit and pull us back into the picture.
Trogan's jumped back into that car, so they put Stibe in for, like, one stint, and... Yeah, like, Trogan's their, like, real-life guy. He must have, like, some sort of license or whatever, so, okay, right, that makes sense.
And real-life guy is a bit...
when the real life guy is
a like, sim racer, it's a bit of a cheat code, right?
A little bit,
makes things a lot easier.
Yeah,
which is becoming more the norm, I guess. Anyways,
it
right?
is. Yeah,
a lot of the real life guys are like we were discussing earlier.
I mean, a lot of guys, guys in this race are like they're all really good.
If they quit one or the other, like they would fit in pretty easily.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So Kev is now. I make that 13 off the lead. In around that, which was less than where I was before, but it's just
around 16.
The Sontag car's further up the road. There's a couple of cars as well, so that the top 4 haven't pitted yet. It'd be interesting to see where the leading BS competition car at the minute, because they pitted on lap 13 with a little bit of a splash. They've got like low fuel. They're probably in this lap or next. And then they'll have a really short stop. It's probably just another splash again. So they might still come out quite close to Kev. So that like P3 isn't like super secure just yet. It'll just take a little bit of time to shake it all out.
Sebring, some of the LMDs were real slow. It's quite a tough track in GTP, especially against the LMB2s, with it being so bumpy as well. Even like coming through towards the end as GTP passing the P2s, there's certain corners where the LMP2 gets off better because of the long first gear of the Acura, for example. So yeah, it definitely makes it tricky in certain places.
Yeah, I remember the old days of the Daytona prototype, and you would...
What a car.
Like, nobody would drive it in officials, except for the random, like, 400 iRacing guy that would just randomly show up, and then obviously it would start the race on pole because it's top class, even though
just that little Lone Ranger, that little Lone Ranger loaded gun you're just waiting for.
Yeah, just waiting for something to kick off. Did we have the P2 then? Can't actually remember. Don't think so. Really? No, I think we ran the Daytona prototype through to like 2019, 2020, something around that.
Yeah, then it went to that, and now we've got GTP.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a bit more sense.
I think we had, it was the DP, GTE, and GT3.
Yeah,
like GTE was like
the C7 DP, yeah.
Yeah. Don't know why it was so unpopular in officials.
Yeah, I love that car. Anytime we talk about it, it was great. Maybe it's nostalgia.
I think
if we went back, maybe we'd have different opinions on it, but nostalgia is nostalgia.
Yeah.
As we see Luca not happy with someone, they know what's going on, but yeah, he's throwing his hand up. Something's not gone well for him. Potentially a penalty as he was looking up at his screen. Maybe it's traffic. Take a quick look.
I'll have a little nosy at race control here. No.
Nothing?
Not that I can see.
So yeah, maybe just upset at the situation they're in. Yeah, who knows?
Maybe seeing the fact that he's got GT4s to work his way through and he didn't get there before the straight.
Yeah, maybe the red line car behind, getting through traffic, like you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't happy about something. That's for sure.
But no, I don't see anything on the timing that sort of indicates anything there. So yeah, that's a battle for P6 with Redline. They had success penalty.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
From winning the previous race, and they're within 30 seconds of the win. So yeah, they've had the
Where
speed.
was our P Cup roughly looking? Was podium without the issues, right?
Yeah, lost probably about 10 seconds or so with the puncture, and we're 10 seconds off third.
Yeah.
So
unfortunate.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, sadly. So just a case of try and scramble, or at least hold on to P6 and see if we can find 7 seconds from somewhere from here to the end of the race. 4th and 5th are battling, or at least they're close together on track. So we'll see how that shakes out. Trying to gauge something from lap times, but it's quite difficult, to be honest. So yep, we're just gonna have to wait and see on that one. With Kev in 7th at the minute, waiting for the top 4 to pit, who we think all of them will filter in behind Kev. Maybe the 9 of the base competition car gets close to or potentially ahead. So that gap is extended out a little bit on this lap, just as they must be on very low fuel at this point, and maybe traffic's worked slightly in their favor. So yeah, time's slowly bleeding away there. Trogan, by the way, in the Sontec car is close to 1.8 from what would be net lead on Vasilios in the Williams car. So something might happen. Something might happen. Sorry, just trying to.
It's interesting.
Trying to work this out. It's like, where is everyone going to land here? Because we're still waiting on final pit stops.
Similar to real life with the Merc here. I'm not sure if everyone can hear, but constantly hearing the car scraping the ground. If you're watching real life Bathurst at the minute,
yeah,
that's all you hear with the MGs. No other car. Really? The MG is just scraping the floor every corner. Supposedly they're saying that's how that car works best with its aero. But yeah, it's quite interesting that we're hearing the same thing here.
In what world is slamming the deck that hard the best way to go?
Yeah, all you hear is the splitter carbon fiber just scraping along the asphalt.
Like everywhere, or just
not everywhere. Every corner, almost every corner, I would say. So on the straights, we're not hearing it scraping, but every corner you're hearing through the corners. So yeah,
wow,
it's quite interesting.
That's like totally backwards. Because I remember sort of like what was it, like the skinny rear wing era of F1, like 2009 to like 2013. Like there'd be a lot of bottoming down the straight. I do remember like quite a bit of that. Like that was great, and even like the most recent generation of F1 car, like with they're trying to sort of do their own little like ground effect thing where they're like scraping quite aggressively down the straights.
Yeah. Yes, and then. See where they shake out.
3 of the 4 have pitted, so we're just waiting on.
So we're finally getting
to actually
a proper read on where everyone is situated then in the top.
Yeah, so we have cleared everyone actually. So that's good. Lucas Herrmann has jumped into.
I believe Falcons still have to stop, right? They're not.
Falcons still have to stop, yeah.
So.
Unless they have magic fuel.
Looks like we should get a fight though. The gap is still coming down, I believe, between the Williams AMG and the Sontec Racing Lamborghini, right?
Yeah, that's down now to 1.5. So yeah, that's just kept chipping away. Sadly, once again, second race in a row, we're in third, kind of no man's land, kind of waiting. It's like, oh, maybe they shot, maybe something happens, but yeah, not quite happening. But still 33 minutes left of the race. Time will tell whether something does happen up ahead. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Battle for 6th and 7th in Porsche Cup. So the red line car has got ahead of our ART car. I guess that was on the back straight, coming up towards the carousel, just as a hunch. You definitely can in that car, I think, make a move there, especially if lead car doesn't have any draft,
yeah,
you can definitely get a run there. And then Luke is just going to sit like 0.1 behind, and I think these guys might like work together until like the last lap, and then start throwing haymakers at each other.
I think we'll get a good finish between these two cars. I doubt there'll be much separation from here to the end.
No, I don't think so either. Huge gap out behind as well, so you know it's all to play for looking forward. No reason to start scrapping when you know chances like both drivers are quite equally matched. Try and work your way closer to, you know, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Anything more than that's probably out of range. Sort of hard to tell. We'll see as they cross the line, sort of lap times for that last lap, just see if there's any general progress being made, because I haven't kept perfect eyes on that. But yeah, coming down to the closing half hour here of the race. Not much in the way of action and activity, to be fair, but fuel strategy and pit cycle and stuff sort of kept it interesting enough, so we don't know how it's all going to pan out. Looking like he had a bit of a moment there through the left-hander there before you come down through the bell off house. Can't mind the name of that left.
He's still not happy, so
yeah,
clearly some issues ongoing with our P Cup car at the minute.
Because Luke is normally really chill. He's pretty difficult to rattle. He's pretty calm, only behind the wheel. He's working away there. Thanks everyone for following on Twitch. All greatly appreciated. Hope you guys are all enjoying the stream as well. It's a slightly different vibe from traditional broadcasts, I guess. So yeah, hope you're enjoying it. Luke is not enjoying anything right now from the looks of it.
Not a nice place to be.
No, he's frustrated over something. Not sure what though.
Yeah, more than likely it's just the pace of the car at the minute. So yeah, clearly the issues that were causing them problems when Michael was in the car either haven't fully solved themselves, or there could be some other external issues that we're just not too aware of at the minute.
I'll have a little look.
Definitely some suspicious stuff based off the little glance I've took across there. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah, not sure. Not sure, but he's still hanging on there to the back of Bennett there in the red line car, 130. That was, I believe, championship leader in class. Could be wrong. Probably wrong. Usually wrong, but give it a lob anyway. Yeah, interesting for the championship as well in GT3. So that red line 50 is obviously leading the championship, but they're down in 7th at the minute. So yeah, they're not going to gain as many points as they'd like. So if we can nab an extra spot or two, that'd be very helpful for the final round. That being said, maybe we don't want 3rd, so that we don't have a time penalty for that last race.
Yeah.
Because we've only got one more round to go of this, I do believe. So, Shara, actually, you're probably right, is championship leader in Porsche Cup. I just don't actually have the standings at hand here, annoyingly. Don't know where I put them. I don't think I've ever seen them, if I'm being totally truthful.
The gap's still coming down between 2nd and 3rd, who are the net leaders in GT3 class as well. There's definitely a little bit of life places. The race still. Don't wish people crashing, but I definitely wouldn't be too opposed to those guys having issues. Bit of luck that we maybe need.
Absolutely. Yeah, blame me, fans. I only sometimes know what's going on. It happens. P-Cups love smashing those curbs. They've got such like ground clearance, even on like minimum ride height, that yeah, you can usually just crunch over the top of it. Old man, what?
I think we're both getting to that stage now, to be honest, right? In the sim racing world.
Well, you've been at this longer than I have.
Yeah,
but you're a
strange
lot
to hear,
younger,
right?
Yeah.
You've got guys like Stan and everyone who remind me how old I am on a regular basis.
Yeah. That's why I quite like the running group that I run with. They're all old, like pretty much all of them, old. All great runners, but they're just like near enough old enough to be my parents. Like, oh, great. Yeah, I feel like the young slinger here, and all these old farts are just like hanging on to, you know, around 20-22 minute 5K pace, and here's me just like, oh yeah, I'm just getting so much better now. This is great.
You're in your prime.
I'm in my prime. That's what I keep telling myself. Well, I got my best like result ever in anything ever last year with the ASL race win. Like that was like my #1 thing that I've won. So like, yeah, I guess I'm still in my prime. Still hanging on in there. Oh, like if you're 18, then yeah, like you're a child still. So, yeah, anyone under the age of 25 is still a child to me. Not lived life yet.
Yeah.
You've not been through things.
Enough.
You've not experienced things. Yeah, take that, McKelly. Still a child. Yeah, 25. Yeah, Johan's old. He'll take it. If you're more than like 4 years younger than me, then yeah, you're still a child. I'll be saying that in like my 50s or whatever. Yeah, you're 48. Nah, I'm still a child.
Yeah, legally I'm old, but I think internally I'm a child.
Yeah, I think
it's all good. I might be 27 officially, but it's not the case. I'm definitely a decade younger than that on the inside.
Yeah, you definitely operate younger than that. Are you child or childish? Childish, probably.
Yeah. I can be serious when I need to, but...
I mean, this man usually walks around just ripping the nastiest farts that you'll ever hear.
Yeah, I think we've got some undiagnosed internal issues there.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I've never come across anything like it.
It happens.
It's a talent.
It's
almost
funny.
At this point. It is.
To me, at least. For Luke, unfortunately, he gets the brunt of it at the minute.
He does. It's all good fun. Oh, I nearly dropped my time in there. That's quite bad. All right, let's see how we're doing. All right, battle for the lead, net lead in GT3 starting to spice up. That gap is now 0.4 of a second. Getting interesting.
Around the straight, I think, as well. So next lap should be decent.
They're probably coming to the end of the straight from here.
Yeah.
Some of them are vile. Yeah. Agreed. Some of yours as well, Johan.
Of all the people to complain on this subject.
Yeah.
The coffee man.
Coffee man.
I want to hear none of it.
Let's see. So yeah, that gap for net lead, I guess, is still lurking about. Yeah, 0.4 or so of a second. The Falcon sim racing car is still going, but they will probably need to pit with 1 or 2 laps left. Quality content on the Apex Racing Team Twitch. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. At least it's fart discussions.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, there's definitely worse subjects.
We definitely could go into a deeper rabbit hole than that, yeah. So... yeah. Just while the race is quite...
Tell me the race has gone stale without telling me the race has gone stale.
Well,
We're talking about farts.
I mean, the Porsche Cup car, I mean, there's a quarter of a second in that battle for P6, and it is starting to close in on basically 3rd, 4th, and 5th as well. Just whether we've got enough time or not, I don't totally know. Yeah, last lap, Bennett was about a second, 1.2 quicker than car in P5. So possibly.
Things seem to be a lot sharper now for Luke in the car. I think he was struggling a bit towards the end of the last lap, but
they set
whatever it was, the issue seems to be solved for the meantime.
Yeah. He's got his focus face back on. Michael does not have his focus face on. He's staring at the ground. I guess maybe his phone's down there or something. I don't know what else he'd be staring at.
I think he's probably taking off the boots now. That's what that hunched over position looks like. I've seen that.
Yeah, looks like he is done for...
He's debooting for the time being.
For the time being. I would say for the day, but he's back in PES this evening at Le Mans.
And it should be a good one.
It should
Don't want to miss that for the guys who are tuned in at the minute.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to miss it. That'll be quite the giggle. You'll see me here as well, and we'll have Kev in that seat there. So, yeah, Pesca at Le Mans is always amazing to watch. It's not fun to be in, I think, because like
it's just very stressful and
it's
intense,
stressful. Yeah, it's yeah, like one small anything, one small blip, and your race is done through no fault of your own. Got to worry about the slowdowns as well at Le Mans.
Yeah, it's a very challenging track. Very challenging.
And it's frustrating to try and make moves. Like, if you've had a poor qualifying, it's quite hard actually to work your way forward.
It's a lot harder than people would maybe think with it being Le Mans.
Because you're stuck on the limiter.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, I think the racing would look better as like from a spectator end. But
yeah,
what ends up happening is everyone ends up in the chip halfway down the straights.
Yeah, essentially.
So, I mean, the guy in second gets a run on the leader, and then that's it. No one else can get a great run. It's quite difficult. Limiter's that short? Yeah, it tops out at like 2.
Well, I wouldn't say it's necessarily short, but I think it's just more the straights at Le Mans are a lot longer than you maybe think with slipstream.
Yeah.
But yeah,
in clean air you don't hit the chip.
You're fine. You do get close in clean air, I believe. I think it is quite... I mean, I want to say it's quite similar to real life, but I'm pretty sure in real life they have a restrictor.
Yeah, which we don't have here.
Whilst they maybe get to the limiter, it isn't as bad as what the guys will experience later.
If we had the 5% power reduction that we have for this series at Le Mans, I think the racing would be...
Yeah, it's definitely something I think iRacing needs to consider, is that the racing at Le Mans would be a lot more interesting if they did up the cars a bit, so that...
But we asked them every year and they said no.
Yeah,
they don't know why.
They seem pretty fixed on not doing that, so...
But they seem okay now we're doing fixed setups, so surely they can make that kind of adjustment, but...
Yeah.
Not sure.
We can hope.
We can indeed. So yeah, everything's static still here in the battle for 6th. I think at this point it's just let these guys sort of work their way up to P5 and see how that goes, and then 3rd and 4th are in a battle as well, so maybe something happens there. Outside of that, I think that's the maximum that those guys are getting.
Yeah, the P-Cup's sort of just running out the clock at the minute, waiting for the last lap before they make anything happen.
Massive death for GT4. Did we miss that? Was that on screen, or...?
I did not see anything, but I guess most deaths at this track are big ones, right?
Yeah. Looks like the car that is in P5.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Not on this road. Okay. So we didn't
little
see
GT4 has been murdered.
Yeah, looks like it. Drop the time again. It's bloody touchpad. Battle for the lead in GT3 still, yeah, where it is. 0.4 of a second. Kev 15 back from that. Not going to get there in 19 minutes unless they bust up. So
sort of a boring one. Boring one for him, I'm afraid.
P3 looks like then. Yeah. Once the Falcon Sim Racing car pits. It'll only have a splash though to do, but I don't think
it shouldn't be any effect.
Yeah, it's 21 seconds. I think you're like pit lane loss is going to be longer than that just on its own. From memory, anyway. Yeah, Lucas sitting nice and tight to the back of the red line car here.
It's a lot harder still than I think most appreciate, being able to stay this close behind these type of cars. Pesk winner predictions, full by slide, just for Le Mans.
Yeah.
Well, that's a tough one, really, isn't it? I mean, yeah, it's hard to put it past Sebastian, right, with his current pace, but Le Mans is a bit different. I think one of our guys
actually gone brilliantly there.
I think one of our guys are winning. I do believe. I think Alejandro, Luke, Johan have all been incredibly fast in the testing so far. So, yeah, I think one of our boys can get the job done.
I agree. I'd like to see Johan win it.
Back to back?
Yeah.
I'd like to see Luke, obviously. He's in the house at the minute with us guys, so fingers crossed that Luke can get the job done.
Yeah. But if any of them win, I mean, we're all
any Apex car. Even Michael.
Even Michael.
He's been doing pretty solid from what I've seen as well. So
he finally got his brakes sorted. He was having issues during the week. So,
yeah, he was.
He's
back on form.
He's back on pace. Even Michael.
Yeah, I know it's maybe a bit of a backhanded statement, or maybe it sounds that way, but Pesk is Pesk. There is Yeah, there's no beating around the bush there.
It's so tough.
It's definitely a different level. But it's Le Mans. Tough track to nail, especially in qualifying. Very minimal chance for everyone to cheese their tires. So, yeah, you've just got to drive a good lap and you're going to be up there. Championship predictions.
I mean, if Seb doesn't have like an aneurysm or something like that, he's got this thing wrapped up.
If Seb loses it from here, I think he's had a proper stinker. Yeah, unfortunately, it's going to be a boring answer for most, right? Sebastian Job's hard to...
I mean, he's won 3 of the first 4 races.
He's pulled and won the first race every round so far. Like, it's hard to argue against that.
It's unless he has a major drop in form. Now, I mean, Le Mans is a bit of an equalizer in a way where anything can happen, but
all it takes is one crash in a sprint race. One crash in a sprint race, and that could be 60, 70 points dropped, and all of a sudden the championship's on again. So things can change pretty quickly as Luca almost falls out the carousel. But yeah, I hope our guys can keep the championship fight on, because Alejandro, Luke, Johan, all those guys they're still within a shout. You know, they're not that far out of it.
All it takes is one really bad round from Seb, and it is wide open again. But
consistency is important. But when you've got someone who's bashing in points rounds like that each time, and like consistency ain't enough anymore.
Where Seb ends up like being really strong is when he's got a lead to defend. This would be tight with the GT4.
And even in that, like, although Seb's rapid and he's pretty relentless, like he's got a whole group of guys in red line that let's not pretend here, like
they'll work
from the outside it seems completely that the entire red line team is working for Sebastian.
Yeah,
that's the way things seem this year. I'm not sure what the deal is, but it just seems like their goal is for Sebastian to win and everyone's on board with it. That's how things seem. So,
which I think is mad when you've got Diogo in that team as well.
It's very strange from the outside, but yeah, not only do you have to beat Sebastian, but you've got 4 or 5 extra minions that you need to sort of deal with as well. So it's
and they're all like top drivers in there, right? Like they're all
exactly minions. Maybe
the top 10.
Statement. They've got 4 or 5 generals all defending the king. You know, it's hard to beat that.
Yeah, they all qualify. Yeah, right up there, and that just makes it so difficult.
Yeah, you'd be happy to have any of those boys in your team.
Yeah. All stable, all... I mean, it sounds weird. Like, gap is like 3/10 of a car ahead. It's like, oh, yeah, this should be quite exciting, but it's...
They're just in the chilling phase.
They're just in the chilling phase, waiting for the final lap to kick in before all hell can break loose. And even then, it's for like minor points. It's not for a race win either, so the gloves might not fully come off here. Alright, so you speak to Diogo a bit sometimes, and they're not exactly trying to make him champion, but if they can work together to get maximum points for the team, then they will.
That's fair, but I think Sebastian's the type of guy he's so competitive that he's there to win every race regardless. I don't think there's not a chance Sebastian's helping anyone win a race.
No.
He's there for himself, and I'm here for it. I mean, I think if anyone's any other way, without good reason, it's pretty sad, to be honest, if you're not there for yourself.
Yep. To be fair, he's been the one who's been in possession. Yeah, anyway,
let's be honest. Yeah, if you draw it out in paper and say, look, guys, one of you guys needs to win. We're all working together to help that guy win. You're picking Sebastian every time. You know, it's hard to go against that, but
yeah,
we'll see. I hope not necessarily that he crashes, but I do hope it becomes a bit more interesting. Like any championship, it's not as fun to watch when the big prize is wrapped up. So
yeah, but you want it to be exciting, sort of regardless, really.
Yeah, greatest all time to be it for sim racing for Sebastian. I mean, greatest of all time.
It's a hard one.
You can argue forever. At the minute in sim racing, Sebastian Job is at the top. He is the tip.
Yeah.
I'd say Josh Rogers, but he's not racing enough in things for that to be in the question, in my opinion, anymore. For real, he's like one of the best, and he's been the best in sim racing for a long time. But I think Sebastian's at the tip of the pyramid at the minute.
Yeah, hard to disagree with that. As Kev was, just caught traffic there at just the wrong point where you do not want to grab GT4 straight into the carousel there. That's cost him a little bit more time. Still 10 seconds out back to base competition car, so it's all still pretty straightforward. And he did miss it, but that Oh gosh, who was in that car? The Falcon Sim Racing car. That one. Yep, they put it. So Kev is now definitely P3. In terms of all-time debate for sim racing.
I mean,
it depends on where you put like Hutu.
Yeah, like, I was about to say those two are the different currents, but then you have to look at guys like Hutu, Cronky. Like, there's definitely others up there.
Like Hutu was the best for.
And we're definitely going to be biased towards iRacing.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. Like,
Hutu did it in everything before.
If any time the iRacing guys go across to other games, R Factor, whatever it may be, they're at the top. I think iRacers are the best. I think it's hard to argue against that. People in iRacing are the best. Like, they are. Most of the top guys are from here. Yeah. You have the odd like exception here and there, but yeah, 100%. But I think iRacing has the top guys, and I think anyone who argues against that is, I think they're just being a bit naive, really.
Yeah. So like at the minute, it is Seb sort of on his own, really. Yeah. Okay, he had like the off day in Sweden, which we're all capable of.
Yeah, but even looking at the online season,
the online season, he walked out.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Number 120 has a penalty, Vince is saying.
And then I think they've towed.
Here?
Or have they? Yeah, they've towed. Let me check. So there's been a little bit of activity here.
We thought 120 was somebody relevant, but it wasn't. Okay. Won't affect our races, essentially.
Oh, 5-second penalty for Luca for bump draft.
Huh?
Yeah.
Not allowed to bump draft?
Not allowed to bump draft.
Interesting. I believe Sontech have overtaken the Williams car as well.
Have indeed. Yeah, I'm just looking at the protest sheet here. Breaching rules, reason bumping Fushro. So, yeah. Not allowed to bump draft.
Okay.
We had that in ESL as well.
Game's the game, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a rule, fair enough, you've breached the rule, but I guess the reason they've probably got the rule is to remove the potential possibility of people bump drafting and shunting someone off by accident with things like, internet's a thing, but
I think that's one of those real life rules that has made its way into the series because this is the digital version.
I think that should be a case by case. Like bump drafting, like surely are you going to penalise a teammate drafting a teammate? You know, that would sort of get rid of that question of the risk of shunting them. So
yeah. Okay. That's interesting. That's an annoying one. That
interesting rule. Yeah. Not sure if it affects the race too much. Seems like it's just gone from bad to worse for those guys today.
Not really. That's still going to end up net P7. Battle for the lead in GT3 overall is popping off. Okay, interesting.
I think they peak ups on screen, to be fair, for the Kita car.
Yeah.
Don't know if they're all for position or not,
but hard to tell because their timing's busted because it's the car that towed. But
if that is the case, then
all for possession.
To be honest, I think that 5-second penalty then does affect them quite a bit because they could easily make moves in this train and get to the front of it. So yeah, that's a bit of a tough one. I don't know. Get ahead and brake check. That count as bump draft. Yeah. What do you class as a bump draft? Like bumping into someone or pushing them for a length of time? Oh my word, that's not good.
No,
that is not ideal. Stay up there, you.
Yeah.
It's good for our car, I guess, but that was a bit of a sketchy moment.
Yeah.
Whoever was questioning about glue, there you go.
Yeah. So that was the car that was at one point in third. It's now dropped down to P7.
That's a big shot.
That kicked off there in a pretty fun way, actually. That was a nice one for our car, just to nick through there on the inside. And now they've towed, so
side by side, I think, between the GT3s there briefly. I think the gap was below a 10th. Yeah. Not sure where they're at on track, but
yeah, GT3 lead. They are
going at it.
They're in the early part of the Nordschleife section, so. Oh yeah, right, coming down into Ironburg. Yeah. Oh, the leaders collided. All right, yeah, we'll have a look at this because, I mean, if it pops off big enough, then it does affect our car. had a bit of this last week or last round as well. Where it's like, yeah, like, I know our focus is our guys, but then all of a sudden the battle for the lead kicks off massively in the last lap. So
nice to see a Lamborghini up front, though. It seems like for the most part it's been AMGs and the Ferrari all the time. So it's nice.
Yeah,
to see a different car up there fighting.
They've had good speed.
I mean, it seems like it. Guys. Yeah, they do seem very quick.
But they've literally shunted in each round.
Oh, really?
In the first hit, like they've qualified top 3, top 4 each round and got biffed every
Seems
time.
like they're win it or bin it then. Seems like
I don't think it's been their fault in any case. They've just got caught up in lap 1 shenanigans pretty much.
Probably desperate for the win. Most would be.
Yeah. BOP this round does work slightly more in their favour because they've not been touched, and the cars ahead of them, the AMG and the Ferrari, both got hit. So, yeah, I actually think that's probably position done. We're able to slightly gap the Williams car.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the gap between Kev and the Williams car has been pretty stagnant, and it seems like those guys have been making moves. So
yeah, they've been able to kick into.
Definitely seems like the Lamborghini's strong at this point of the race.
Luca looks like he's going to try and make his move now, and see if he's got anything in the tank to try and pull a gap and start gaining
some inroads into that 5-second penalty.
Yeah. But as it stands now, he's 5 back from P5. So. Yeah, not much, I think, really to fight for.
Yeah.
I guess keep Bennett on his toes and maybe makes a mistake of some sort.
2 laps to go. Yeah, there'll be one more after this one, I believe. Yep.
Yeah. Lead GT3 will take the white flag this time around, and they're halfway through the lap. So, Lucas pushed on. Oh no, sorry, I've misread. Sorry. Yes, they've got this car. Now fight with the Dury sports car, and then it's 5 seconds further up the road. Sorry, I misread my time in there. Yes, this is battle for position, but we are with a 5-second time penalty for
what could have been for the P Cup without the tire issues.
Yeah. Number 7 BS competition car's got a 5-second penalty for bump drafting on the Dotner, so at least they're consistent with that.
The number 7, who's that? GT3, just further back in the
BMW GT3.
Okay.
For the BS guys, and then
clearly it's a rule. While it's harsh, rules are the rules. So at least they're enforcing it the same for everyone. So can't complain too much there.
Yeah, where did Dur come from? I just don't think they've actually had anything happen to them in this race. So I think that's probably what's happened there.
Just everything's crumbling around them, and they're just trucking away.
Yeah.
Looks like Luke is going to be. Obviously now he's got the 5-second penalty. You can see the difference in attitude from chilling behind to
hustling now.
Yeah, they need to hustle to get ahead to try and get rid of that if they can. It'll be a.
I think the strat's
going to be a tough job.
I think the strat's going to be try and get ahead down into Ironburg if possible, and then try and put some distance between himself and the Dury Sports car.
Yeah, post race, I believe, Vince. Yep.
Yeah. Post race. So.
Yeah,
maybe that's something that can be. I don't think there's appeals in the series though at all. Like once a decision's made, it's done. Like that's it.
Okay, fair.
It's very. Yeah, it's authoritarian that way.
I think you've called it well though. I think a good opportunity down here at the end of the straight after Flugplatz. It's probably quite important if they can make the move. Gives them a chance to go through the entire Nordschleife and try and pull a gap.
Let me just double check as well the time. So there's 2 different ways that you could have went about this. Is either do the double at the start or do the double at the end.
Okay.
In terms of taking the tire, so maybe the Dury Sports car took fresh tires.
You see Luke going for it then.
Yeah, he's going for it now.
It should be a big commitment move around the outside here.
Yeah.
This will be quite brave. Definitely got the overlap. Just needs to hold it up on the brakes and he's got the move done. Everything under control.
Oh,
can't tell if he's held it or if he's gone deep. What a move from the door car to hold on the outside. It's not easy there.
Yeah. But hopefully Luca can hang on.
It's hard to tell who's ahead. I don't think he's going to hold this into the foxhole. It's going to be sketchy. Hopefully we survive.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
This is difficult side by side.
Oh my goodness.
Is he going off?
No, he's not.
What a bit of driving from both. What a hack.
That's incredible.
Well defended. It looked like lost the corner entirely, yeah.
Yeah, no,
good bit of racing there.
Can't argue with that. That's really good. side by side through the foxhole, like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And nobody got like biffed all. Like there was a little bit of contact there.
The contact model is very good in this car. It is very good. You can bump doors and rub a bit, and it's
how you should be able to race in a car like this.
Yeah, well done to both those guys. That was pretty good driving. As the leaders are fighting again.
Yeah, here we go again. Yeah.
Anything could happen here. A bit of bumping could lead to a penalty, anything like that. So Kev's definitely just got to keep on his toes. Keep trucking.
Okay, right. So the Williams car got a warning for blocking into, didn't say where, but I have a timestamp. So somewhere on that previous lap.
Yeah, it must have been when they collided on the way to. It must have been before the foxhole. Down into that corner at the end of the straight.
Yeah, makes sense. So the gloves have come off at points here. But I do think that lap was maybe just a little bit quicker as they're onto the final lap of the race. So not too many more opportunities for that Williams car to get back ahead. But they've gapped Kev. I guess Kev's sort of just wind down for the race at this point.
Yeah,
just
sort of.
No risks. Yeah, well, no stress, no drama.
Not a nice place to be for a driver, but
no,
it is what it is.
Podiums order of the day really for this series. As long as you can get yourself onto the podium with no issues, then happy days. Luca's going to have another crack here on the Dura Esports car. And has a better run this time.
He should be able to clear him before they turn in.
Yeah,
there we go.
There we go.
Should be able to cover it off for the comeback here. Obviously, the red line cars get involved, so it might get a bit sketch.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Well, that's probably the opposite of what we wanted, unfortunately. But
yeah,
better to be ahead.
Top three, Scotty. So first gets a 30-second stop and hold in the penalty area before you make your first pit stop. Second gets 20, and third gets 10. 10 seconds is usually okay to overcome. 20 and 30 gets a little bit more difficult. So that's our guys up into, well, I mean, it's fourth on the road, but it'll be sixth as it stands.
Yeah, it's more just a 5-second penalty. We were hoping that the guys could potentially try and pull out, but I think that's not going to matter really. So
yeah, we'll see how the run on the Dotner goes. Like if Luca can start like pulling a little bit of a gap here, he's already stretched like 7-8 tenths here. Not far enough to completely break draft, but if it means that the Dora car behind has a run then on the red line car,
potentially they could fight.
They could start fighting and then allows Luca to break away. So it's important for Luca now just to put the hammer down and get as far clear as possible. Draft is up to 2 seconds, I think.
Yeah, it's been 2 seconds for a long time. Yeah. So.
No, you don't get much at 2 seconds, but you definitely get something back there. So it'll take some time. Battle for the lead in GT3 still looks like it's there or thereabouts, still kicking off. So we'll keep a little bit of an eye on that as well. But yeah, Luca's putting the hammer down. 8 tenths is the gap. Like this is the crucial part of lap. If he can absolutely smash this, then you know, maybe get I think it's Jonas in the Dura Esports car to have a crack at Bennett. Then that maybe gives him an opportunity.
I think it's more like quality corners. I don't know if do they have one more lap in P Cup or is this their final lap too?
No,
okay, they do have one more.
They do have one more. So
he's definitely got opportunity. But yeah, I think it's going to be too little, too late, unfortunately.
Little bit. Just a shame about that penalty, but yeah, he's give it largely there. Bennett's actually like closed in a little bit just in the last couple of corners, so we'll see how this shakes out. What was the penalty for? Bump drafting. Yeah. Welcome to DNLS. You know, you have to be really like careful about your weaving and stuff on the straights as well. So that's why like Lucas not going side to side there. It's a rule that they've applied consistently. Annoyingly, it is what it is. So yeah, I can't really say too much more about it.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. It is a rule. Unfortunately,
it's part of the series. Bennett has actually just been able to zip straight back onto Luca here, so hasn't completely went to plan, but still one more lap left for the guys in Porsche Cup, whereas the GT3s are coming towards the end of the race. Actually, the battlefield lead is like getting side by side again. Might as well have a little. We'll definitely get back to our guys.
Word. I don't know if he's
dipped out. Oh, Oh!
There's all sorts of lag and everything happening.
It's all kicked off. And it's all kicked off.
There's a door.
Door into door. Dooring door. I don't know. There's something. We can make a terrible pun about that, but Vanner actually right on the outside there. That's mental.
He had such a good run off of T2 on the outside.
How in the hell has he done that? Great move. Can't knock it. It is what it is. Yeah, door banging. Yes.
Yeah, Lucas got a very good run off the exit.
Yeah. Hard in.
It's deep though. Good bit of racing we're seeing here in P-Cups.
This is all like fantastic stuff. Williams' car's got back ahead of the Sontec car, which we did just about catch. So, yeah, that'll be a grandstand finish down the Dotner on the final lap. We'll hopefully get a chance to have a little look at that as they go to round off this race. Kev's still 18 seconds back in the MSI car. So, yeah, unless it's a huge spill, probably not going to profit from it. Gosh, I mean, not much really happened in this race, and it's all just kicked off at the end.
Yeah, for the last 2 laps, things are happening. Yeah.
We sat patiently waiting for everything just to kick off.
Just a shame this isn't for the win. It'd be a lot more intense, right?
I know, and it's a shame about our guys with the 5-second penalty as well.
Yep.
Huge shame. Okay, so this area of the track isn't really known for like its moves and its overtaking, because you've got an overtaking opportunity sort of.
Be looking after flip flats again for similar to last lap.
GT3 leaders not using track limits anymore. Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's probably all kicked off there and just running wide everywhere that they can. Like through a YouTube corner, for example, just, yeah, run it wide. Gain whatever you can out of it. So coming up to Flugplatz. Oops. Cars do get very, very light up over the crest there. But yeah, Lucas got another good run here. He'll have a crack.
See what the door car does this time. If he decides to cover the inside, or if he fancies his chances on the outside again with a better mid speed.
Gone the opposite way this time.
He's got a bit more of a run this time. He might have cleared him.
Yeah,
and he has. Yeah,
has cleared him. And then just hold the inside to make sure not to run too deep. Yeah, like that. Can we get a little look at the GT3 lead just at the end here? So here we are, yeah, on the Dotner.
Here we go then.
We can definitely then switch back.
Our race victory chance as Lucas.
Yeah.
Clearly not happy. Bless him.
He's not pleased. All right, side by side, coming down into Tiergarten for the final lap.
They are going for it.
They have to. The bound to shunt. Here we go.
No way.
No, it's still clean. It's still clean.
What a hack.
Oh,
trouble.
They're off.
Oh,
they're off. They're in the wall.
Oh my word. Oh no.
I think the Williams car is going to win somehow.
They're going to win on track.
I don't know what way that's going to work out.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if they'll.
Can Kev get it? Can Kev get there? No, he's too far back.
Well, we'll see what the stewards think of that. Obviously, we didn't see too much.
We're saying what we've seen.
Yeah.
It was a good hack.
It was a good hack indeed. It looked like, as you'd expect for the race win, they both didn't want to give up much space.
No, why would you?
The Williams car ran the Sontec car wide, and he had to come back at some point, and he decided that he was coming back straight as possible. So.
Yeah. Oh, what a day. 30-second penalty for both. Yeah, we'll take that.
Yeah, just give us the win. Give us the win, please. What a good finish, though.
Yeah, tremendous finish.
Kev just needs to keep going after it here.
Yeah.
He makes a bit of a mistake, it looked like there.
Yeah, so we've got Jordan Johnson. He's one of our academy drivers. He's come in on short notice as well to fill the second seat there in the 48 car. It's just a day out for them just to sort of fulfill the requirements of the car. The 60-second stop and hold is always going to put them massively on the back foot. Yeah, it's not going to score points from there down in P14.
As we see Lucas cooking.
He
is. It's unfortunate that the red line car got through at the same point last lap, because I feel like if the red line car got stuck like this in the previous lap,
here they go.
The 5 seconds was a possibility.
So
Luca needs to make sure to give the door
if we
car
can
draft.
Perfect camera, that's what I was looking for. Well, give them both drafts so they're side by side through here, and neither of them want to give it up.
We're bumping.
I feel like
more cars hanging in there.
We'll see. Oh, they're still
they're
hanging
getting smaller and smaller.
They are, but I don't think that gap's gonna. Well,
we've got traffic as well.
Got traffic as well to contend with, coming into the carousel. So
I think they should be able to get into the bowl.
One will the other.
Yeah, they're both.
Yeah, they're both going to get through. Okay. We're hoping for GR86.
Little GR86 wanted nothing to do with it.
No, I don't blame him either.
Don't blame him. Yep.
So, yeah, we'll get a little bit of airtime here for the 48 car. That's
interesting to see what the stewards do about this incident.
Well, it is they protested each other, which is what you want to say.
Do you penalise both, or because they were both as much to blame, do you just call it a racing incident like it seemed? Who knows? Who knows?
There's a lot going on here. Redline have protested us again for something, reckless driving apparently. Not sure.
I assume P-Cup makes more sense. I would assume. But yeah, no surprise there. I guess.
We've now protested Dur, so like it's all kicking off in race control. That's for sure. Breach of rules. Don't know what rules were breached, but something probably has been breached. Race control have noted themselves the collision in the last corner between Williams and Sontec.
I mean, I don't think they needed to write that, to be honest. But
no, but I mean, it's been noted at least.
Yep, that's just good.
Putting the stewards to work.
Yeah, this is sort of pretty natural in these races that everyone starts digging up a protest for every little thing they can possibly find. That it's
Redline love a protest, don't they?
Yeah, I mean everyone does, I guess, to some extent.
Oh, but that's boys really love a protest.
I guess that's just the game, right?
It is the game.
Oh, a bit of smoke up ahead, as we have a per Porsche Cup has stacked it in the fence with 2 corners to go.
Is that for position?
I
don't think so.
Don't think so. No. No, we're still P4.
Oh, it's Dave Williams hacking it round a lap down with a completely busted car.
Oh, ideal.
Not sure what for. Not sure what he's getting out of that, but okay.
0.7 is the gap. Let's see. Yeah. Could they have more beef with the P-Cups this time?
Yeah. I mean, it would be fun. It would be really fun if they do. And then, you know, the 5-second penalty just gets wiped out and we finish 4th. I'd be happy with that.
Here we go.
So, all right. Down to Tiergarten for the final time in the Porsche Cup class. Let's see how this shakes out. Jonas Vanner in the Dory Sports car, Luke Bennett in the Redline car. They will be side by side on the way in here.
Here we go.
Fingers crossed.
Door car has got the ideal positioning.
He does. Will he door him out of the way? No, not yet.
Car's going to try.
Will he door him out of the way here?
Carbon copy. Carbon copy. Oh, the door car's done well.
Has Bennett dropped it?
No, he has not. He almost did.
He almost did.
Will that be the 5 seconds on the Redline car, potentially?
I think so. It's close. I have that clocked at 5.3.
Yeah, they've got it. We see Lucas celebrating, so they've got the Redline car. So
yes.
That is ideal.
It's P5. And also we've got a protest on...
the door car, I believe.
On the door car. This might still be P4.
What a spicy finish then.
Let's go.
Let's see what happens. Worries that if the Williams car in the GT3, as we see the incident.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that again. So yeah, I think it's the Williams car that had, got loose.
So yeah, it looks like from what I've seen, the Williams car takes the entry curb, gets loose, and then doors the Lamborghini off, and then the Lamborghini's obviously rejoining because that's what you expect. So
yeah,
depends how they look at it. The Lamborghini's been pushed off, but the rejoin is not ideal either. So that's hard racing. Yeah, as you can hear, he's full throttled there. So
yeah. So final results in 2025? Yeah, pretty much.
That's the first contact is definitely on Williams pushing them off, but you can clearly hear the Lamborghini had no intentions of anything other than firing them into the barrier. So yeah, he's got a bit loose, and then the Lamborghini said, "Have some of that, mate." So
yeah, it was a bit naughty all around then.
Interesting one. Yeah, I mean, could potentially cost the Lamborghini the win here if.
McKinley's saying that the Lambo's stuck on the curb, which is kind of true, but he's also not left it out.
Yeah, we could clearly hear on board that he full throttled when he went wide. So, yeah, I don't know if that's the smartest thing. Potentially just accepting that they'd been pushed off and taking second, and the lead car stewards maybe would have swapped it since they doored them off. Yeah, maybe it'll come to bite them. Let's see.
Another thing that's come through race control. That race control have noted and said penalty not scored. Don't know what that means for the 5, the Williams car, not returning to pit lane with own engine power.
Aha!
I don't know what exactly that
Everybody,
penalty means.
everyone's lost their head. They've all fallen to bits.
It says not scored, so maybe that's at least second, and then who knows what way they actually adjudicate.
What a crazy race.
Yeah.
What a crazy finish.
It was all fairly tame for quite a while there. We spent the first hour talking about absolutely nothing.
Yeah, we got to farts at one point there where we're definitely struggling. And then we had an absolute grand slam in the 2 classes we were interested in. So.
It was fantastic. So
see what the stewards come up with after it all.
It all kicked off. So I'm not sure exactly what not scored means. Are they DQ'd from the race? Or what does that even mean?
I mean, yeah, I'm not too sure what the actual punishment is, but yeah,
it's all kicked off. Wow,
drama.
Drama.
It was the F1 finish that we never get.
I know.
It always seems like it's going to be a good finish and it never happens, but we got it in both classes. We got spoiled.
Steen Ledger in chat. It's a DQ for the car not returning to
pit lane. That is big.
On par. Which gives us a spot.
Interesting if they were damaged, because do you know, I believe after the crash the front right tire looked like it was locked. I don't think it was actually spinning for them.
No, it wasn't. But
so
they could have still.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll
slowly trundled back round.
I wonder if they'll maybe argue that they couldn't get there because they couldn't steer or they couldn't turn. So maybe there's good reasons. So. I'm sure the stewards will look into that, but maybe they couldn't physically get round the track, so they had no choice but to pull over.
Yeah, so the reasoning was not returning to pit lane with own engine power, so whether they got a pushback or not, I don't know. Like,
we'll see. I'd like to think if it was a steering issue, like the wheel was broken, they'd let that slide with good reason, but if the engine is, if they just pulled over and stopped, then...
Jeez, well, I've no idea exactly how this all ends up. We've got Kev, I think, that's come upstairs.
270 degrees left.
Yeah. Jeez, all right, so we've got Kev. We'll bring him in a moment here, and then we'll figure out what the result of this race actually was.
Shall see if I put my shoes on.
Yeah, I'll take the.
Enjoy my greasy.
All right, Kevin Ellis Jr. In we come, get that on. All right,
we're on.
We're on. So it looked like, from your perspective, quite a dull and not super exciting race, but everything just sort of kicked off there. I don't know what you know that I don't, but that all got very spicy at the end for the lead.
Yeah, it was pretty frustrating actually. Obviously the 10-second success penalty that we had sort of put us on the back foot a bit, and we lost a little bit in the pit cycle compared to Williams as well. Then in the last stint, had a bit of a miscommunication with Mark about how much fuel to add. The number that he gave me, I thought, was how much we needed in the tank, but it was actually how much I had to add, so I had to save like 3.5 litres in that last stint.
That explains where the pace drop-off was, because we were sort of it's like, he's not fighting for anything, there's no gap, or nothing to fight for ahead, really. Like, you need a massive shunt for anything to work out, and so I thought you just backed it down for it, which you technically did, but it was for fuel reasons.
Yeah,
fair enough then.
And the tough thing with this series as well is you have to drive back to pit lane. So I had to save 2.5 litres plus the litre and a bit after it to get around the GP section. So I mean, normally we're hitting around 13.6, 13.7 litres a lap, somewhere in that sort of realm. And on the second last lap, I think I was the quickest car on track using 12.8. Yeah. So the tyres were in mint condition. I just couldn't use them. Yeah.
It looks like, though, provisionally, it's second, not third, because the Williams car didn't make it back to pit lane under its own steam. Now, we don't know whether it's because they ran out of fuel or whether it's because of the massive amount of damage that those guys accumulated in the final corner. I don't know if you've seen it, but
they ran out of fuel.
They ran out of fuel.
So yeah, I think Vasilios ran out of fuel and then got pushed back to pit lane, which is basically an instant penalty.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if it moves us up to P2 or if they just get like no score sort of thing, and we still score the same amount of points for P3.
Oh, good point.
So that could be a bit of an issue for us because we are fighting Williams in the championship.
So they're classified as, or the penalty applied is not scored, but it's not DQ.
Yeah, so I don't know if that means that they just finish P1 with no points, or if they legitimately get put to like the end of the leaders.
It'll be interesting to see how that works then for the final round of of the championship in terms of the success penalty, whether you guys get penalised as third place or as second place. So,
if we get penalised as third place, then I think we'll take that.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a little bit harsh for us to get a P2 penalty when technically we did finish P3 on track.
Yeah.
But again, we're not really sure what's going on. A couple of the guys were sort of... I haven't seen the incident personally because my car's still sitting in like the podium box that you have to park in.
Yeah.
So I parked it there, turned the engine off, and I just sort of left to come up here. But I don't know if Sindri was at fault for their incident or what really happened. I can see there's a protest there, but no
there's
reasoning.
all sorts kicking off.
If we somehow win this race, I'll be very happy because I feel like in the last
I don't think it would be a race win.
I don't think it will be either, but it would be nice. But I really was kicking myself because I was losing like 2-3 seconds a lap the first half of that stint saving the fuel.
Yeah.
So we probably lost close to 10 seconds, and I think we ended like 8 seconds behind Sontech, something like that. So we could have picked up a scrap there. Then if Williams do get
that's still under investigation,
put to the back, then we could have been P1. But yeah, just a little bit frustrated. A bit of a miscommunication in the pit box is all it was, and that was enough to sort of remove any chance.
Do you think it was possible to get close if it wasn't for that?
I mean, in the first stint, I was pushing like as normal and was able to sort of match.
You gained.
We were sort of trading lap times for the most part.
Yeah.
I would sort of gain a 10th. Vasilios would lose a 10th. Like it was very, very. I don't know. Like it was very, very close, just in terms of raw pace.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I don't know.
In other news, just for everyone on stream, we do have that confirmed. So the Door Esports car got a 5-second time penalty as well in Porsche Cup. So we do miraculously end up P4 despite our own 5-second time penalty for bump drafting, which I think is just rubbish rule, but
yeah,
it's something clearly brought over from real life. So yeah, whatever. So everyone got a penalty. Well, no, out of the fight at the end of the 3 cars, yeah, the one car that didn't get a penalty didn't profit out of it, I guess, because we finished 5.3 ahead of Redline because they had beef in the last corner as well. So yeah, we'll take that. P4 after a tire exploding as well, which is mental.
What I find strange though is I saw the tire percentages from those P-Cup guys, and it wasn't like low percentages. Like it wasn't at a stage where the tires would blow up.
Yeah.
So I really don't know what's gone wrong
in that second
for those guys. Like something has happened because, yeah, like, as I say, I was in my first stint. I had this card on the top screen just so I could sort of keep an eye on what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Luca posted the tire percentages and they said they had a meatball. So, yeah, it was.
Michael did very well to drive that back to the pits with, I think we lost like 8 or 9 seconds all in with that.
It's definitely a game bug though, for sure. Like we were nowhere close to having a puncture. So
yeah,
I'm not sure what's gone wrong.
Yeah, so on our the Porsche Cup guys got a puncture. Yeah, surprising to all of us. Gosh, right.
Was it Sin there?
We're still.
So are they investigating the AMG thing just now?
Yeah, they're investigating the
AMG Sontech incident.
Yeah, that and the last lap of the race. So, I mean,
we'll keep our fingers crossed.
We'll see how that happens. Yeah. There's punctures in iRacing. There always has been. You just need to get the tire down to 0% more often than not. Thoughts though, right? So you come back again into this series to sort of fill in and show your face. Thoughts about coming back in and how this was maybe a little bit different from your previous race where it was a little bit of a hotter track temp and how to adapt and sort of manage that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I was looking for redemption after that first race. I feel like we had the pace to win. I think just my inexperience in wheel-to-wheel combat and iRacing over the past sort of 12 months is just what kind of let me down a little bit. It does still kind of... There are times where I was sitting and just go back and think about it, like, it would have been so nice to have won my first race back on iRacing, especially against Redline as well. But, I just broke a little bit too late into T1. Rudy could take advantage of that, and then sort of all kicked off at T3, T4, and I just got new damage modelled in T4, which really did sting. We had sort of 2-3 seconds a lap on Rudy in that race. So, yeah, I was obviously hungry for redemption coming back for this round, but yeah, we had some great pace in qualifying. I think we qualified the other Merrick guys by over a second.
Yeah.
So the little thing I was telling you about the other day, that worked very well. So again, I'm glad I found that, considering, you know, I haven't been around the sim a whole lot recently. It just sort of popped into my head. I was like, guys, why don't we try this? And, you know, it ended up being a big, massive benefit for them. So that was really great to give us good track position. I think it was just a sort of, the success penalty combined with just a little bit longer in pit lane was just the be-all, end-all, really. Williams were roughly the same pace as us in race trim, so kind of hard to make up a 14-second deficit.
Yeah, that's pretty much how the cookie crumbles. So there's one more round in this series. I've no idea whether you'll be filling in for that or not. I'm not even sure actually when it is.
I believe Alejandro's back in. For the last round, so that's probably good news for them. Although my pace wasn't bad, like I'm just not at the level that Alejandro's at the minute. You know, if things go a certain way this year, I could be back in iRacing full time, and then we'll get the dynasty back together with Alejandro and I. But you know, for the meantime, I'm more than happy to sort of jump in and out of things and help the guys out where possible until we sort of know where Rennsport is standing. So. No, I mean, I'm really enjoying the DNLS series. Too many rules. But the GT3, especially the Merc at Nordschleife, is a really, really good combo.
Good.
Really enjoying it. So, yeah, glad I could pick up another podium for the guys, keep them in that championship hunt. We just need to hope that, obviously the last round's going to be tough. I think we're going to have to basically win the race, and we have a 10-second success penalty versus Redline having none. So, they've got an uphill battle, but, you know, we outscored Redline. That was the goal. So yeah, just happy I could contribute to that.
Sounds good. Last question: are you looking forward to the rain in iRacing?
Whether I even get to try it or not is another question. Yeah, you know, I've been looking forward to rain for a while. From what I've seen, from what iRacing have said, it all looks to be going in the right direction, but it's whether they actually execute it properly is my worry. One thing I've always harped on about for the last couple of years is that when they add rain, the dry tire isn't in a situation at the moment where it's particularly good. So my fear is if you're in sort of a damp track where you're not quite ready for wets, you're going to be on the dries, how is that going to feel and how is that going to react? Is it going to be just a complete joke, or is it going to be like 4 seconds a lap quicker to be in damp conditions than bone dry?
Hopefully they get it right.
I have my fingers crossed, but I also have my massive reservations, just purely because I think the whole weather system itself will be great. I think it will work as intended. Puddles will form. It will look great. My only hesitation is just the tire model. I just don't think it's ready yet, and I don't think it will be for a while. They seem to keep on making adjustments, and they say it's an improvement. We go and try it and find that there's something
not right, fundamentally
backwards with it. So, yeah, as I say, that's my reservation. But I think, you know, for an addition to the sim, it will be it's a step that they should have taken before now, but they have it on the way. It will be the most advanced weather system in sim racing, no questions asked about that. But yeah, as I say, the tire model will be my fear.
Sounds good. We'll let you go, and then you're back here with me this evening for PESC.
In 3 hours, something like that.
Yeah, just over 3 hours.
So I'll go and get a shower and freshen up because I've got headset sweaty here at the moment. So I'll go and try and get myself sorted out.
Yeah, good job. Solid podium. We'll see what step on the podium that technically ends up being. But yeah, nice job today.
Keep an eye on my socials for updates, I guess, and the team socials, and we'll find out.
There we go. He's plugging it perfectly.
Plugging it. Cheers, guys.
Love it. All right. No remote interviews, so I guess we can wrap. We'll get Pete back on. He's in. He's on. There we go. We still haven't got a conclusion regarding the investigation on that final lap shunt between Williams and Sontag. Long says it was a good watch. I enjoyed it. I liked the outcome of it. where both cars ended up in the fence, so we'll take that. And yeah, thumbs up that the 1-2-1 also ended up with a 5-second penalty, so that cancelled each other out, and we got 5.3 clear of Redline, so we ended up 4th anyway in Porsche Cup. So that's about as much as we could have expected, given, at least for that car, the success penalty at the start, the tire blowout, which was weird.
Yeah, very suspicious meatball. Yep.
Bear in mind as well, like when they pitted, like to double stint the tire, like they weren't doing a full 8 laps. I think they were going to cut 1 lap out, and then it was 2 8s to the end. So for it to have went that way is a surprise. But hold up. A penalty is being applied to Sontag, but they're in the middle of writing it. Luca can do an interview. Oh, excellent. Yeah, if we can get you to jump in, Luca, we'll stretch this out just a little bit longer until we get an actual like result for GT3 as well. So yeah, we'll bring Luca in. First of all, he's there. He's in.
Hello.
He's in. Hello. That looked pretty spicy at the end.
It's a very chill race overall.
Yeah,
nothing to even talk about.
Oh yeah, no, nothing happened. Yeah, quiet race, no drama, steady P4. Yeah, talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, first stint looked pretty boring. I mean, we saw it here already in the stream, but yeah, I mean, the most point or the biggest point, I guess, to talk about is how the tire just exploded. Like at the beginning of the last lap of the second stint from Michael, who had like insane tires. He was doing exactly nothing in the first stint. Yeah, he just ended up on 0% on the front left, having the whole lap on the Nordschleife with a tire, and you couldn't hear it on the phones that the tire was just flat. And yeah, I don't know, we saved the replay, we have a look at it, because I mean the pace was actually, I mean, it's always good every round. So yeah, I mean, he jumped over the last chicane before going into the pit, so we think that damaged the car somehow, or overall the tire explode, damaged the car or something on it. You saw nothing, but the pace was just not there. My second stint, I had understeer. My tires were really bad for one stint as well. Of course, I pushed to get the guys. But yeah, it was never like that. I mean, our tires over the stints are good, with a good pace at the same way. So yeah, it was incredible. And that we just somehow ended up P4 now, with Dur getting the penalty, we getting a penalty, and clearing redline by 5.3 seconds is actually a bit unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, I drove everything out, what I can out of the car, which was really hard because we had no front and the grip was not there. But yeah, somehow we made it possible, and just need to hope to have a really, really clean round for the last round, and something to the others to make it somehow into the top 3 of the championship finally.
Yeah, it sets you guys up well, especially with the P4, no success penalty, anything to worry about. So it definitely sets you guys up for a potential crack at the win.
Yeah, it was definitely unlucky for Michael with the quali. I don't know what happened directly, but I mean, the pace was so slow at the beginning that, yeah, I don't know, the field was so stacked. The whole race was just weird, to be honest. But yeah, we just need to look at I mean, he's always nailing quali. I don't know how many poles he has, I guess 3 or something in this series. So for next time, we will do it again, and then we just win it in the clean.
That's the plan.
Exactly.
Busy day for you. Straight into Porsche Tag Esports Super Cup at Le Mans. How's that been going? Because we don't get to do like pre-race interviews with anyone, but I guess we can kind of do one of these. Like, how's it been looking going in? How you feeling for it? Confidence high, confidence low? Where are we at?
I mean, my confidence is definitely there, and I would say a little bit higher than in the other rounds. Regarding that, there's not the big tire warm-up we have to do in Le Mans, but always when I talk about confidence, it disappears in quali. But yeah, last year was pretty good in here. I guess it was my first good round of the season, with a top 10 finish, so as far as I know or remember. So yeah, I'm looking to do that again this year, but of course it will be interesting racing with the straight, a lot of shunts probably. So yeah, it will be hopefully a clean drive to make some positions, and let's see how the quali works.
Excellent. Well, I'll let you get ready for that as well. Good job in scrambling P4 from what was a tricky position, and keeps you guys in the hunt for top 3 in points. So yeah, best luck tonight, and best luck for the final round of DNLS in however many weeks it is. I'm not even sure.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Should be.
I would have guessed 2 weeks. So yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Best luck, mate.
Thank you.
Cool. And we now finally as well have a decision that was made on the final lap.
Let's hear it.
No further action.
Okay.
Which I think is probably
I think
right.
it's understandable. I think they just sort of, they've looked at it, both cars going at it for a win. I think, like I said, most of it was a racing incident, but I think that's fair.
Especially when Williams end up with a separate penalty anyway.
Yeah, it's hard to put blame on one car there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think give that a decision.
I'd give both a 15-second or 20-second time penalty and have our car win, but that's me being bad. Oh no, they've switched it back to under investigation. It was completed. No, it's not. They've changed this twice now. It's amazing. Like I'm
playing with my emotions. I don't like it.
I'm glued to this race control screen. But we can't sit here forever. We'll get final results at some point, and we'll see it on the socials. On Apex Racing Team, but I think that'll do for now. Whilst the stewards try and figure out a damned decision, but on the road for our cars, third for the MSI car. I think it was 14th in the end for the car that had the massive penalty at the start, and then fourth eventually for the guys in Porsche Cup. So not a bad day at the office.
Yep, pretty solid.
We'll take that momentum through to this evening, but from Pete and from myself, we've got the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup this evening at around 7 p.m. Make sure not to miss it.